You just made a face.
All right.
It's off.
Okay.
We're back.
Volume on mute.
Welcome back, everybody, to Tabletop Notch.
Worst.
This is chapter 16.
Wow.
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 All right.
He has more beds.
You guys suck.
So we'll be diving back in. A quick reminder for anybody who has subbed or would like to sub, will sub, feel free to send us a little comment with your sub to just use the same name that you used when you subbed to add it to our guest book, which plays at the beginning and end of every stream. We're going to be updating it before the next stream. That has a few people have sent us comments that we're going to update the book with. We'd love to acknowledge your support and appreciate it. So feel free to send a little message to just like, I like the stream, or like, what's up with that one guy?
Who's that one guy?
All in that
Direct quotes.
It's him.
As you already have to talk like that.
So that's just a reminder. Any other notes? Anybody thoughts?
No.
Nope. Subscribe.
We can't.
We did the subscribe. Let's do that. Yeah.
And thanks.
Just keep saying it. People will do it.
Click, click, click. Okay, sorry.
So we're going to roll the intro, and then we'll get back. We'll jump right into it with chapter 16.
Let's do it.
Do it. Intro.
Intro.
Oh.
Instead of it's always sunny and fun.
That's their slogan.
All right, everybody. Let's dive in. In chapter 15, long story short rest, Jillian breathed a sigh of relief upon seeing friendly faces for the first time in days. She was eager to swap tales and learn what had transpired in her absence, but she worried that the crossing was a dangerous place to do so, given her belief that some of the Black Lion barbarians had survived and might be gathering reinforcements. With limited options and the road to the north inaccessible by vehicle or by horse, Jillian suggested that we backtrack to the home of an old acquaintance of hers, Blom Atula. When we agreed and returned to the carriage, Jillian insisted that our captive, now risen from his unconsciousness, be killed for fear that he would relay information of our whereabouts. And though the idea sat uneasy in our minds, except for Graven's, we acknowledged the risk and put the barbarian to rest.
I'm gonna go ahead.
As we rode along the Pucara River, we were told the story of Jillian's capture. That after chasing the undead knoll for some time, she was ambushed by a pack of black lions under a magical disguise and imprisoned in a cage on the back of a wagon with a cloth to deprive her of any vision. Along the way, the only spoken words that meant anything to her were Havasa Marat Uyatar, an old proverb from a dead language used by some of the tribes and villages up north. We countered with the highlights of our own journey to get to this point. Robert and Armand's assistance, Winston Muldoon's suspicious emergence, and a number of other small threads that we didn't know yet how they tied in. Jillian had a considerable wealth of information, but the biggest questions were still unanswered, and it only hardened her resolve to reach the Myconid camp that was the focus of our original mission. Traveling back through the area that contained the desecrated ground, the spirits appeared much improved from their previously disturbed state. They didn't hinder our passage and seemed determined to clean up some of the gruesome remains, though one spectral young girl communicated a warning to Orba that someone might be returning to reclaim the haunted woods. We took that to heart, and we picked up the pace, hastening to the point where the path broke off from the main road with a sign designating Blom's property. The ground began to soften beneath the hooves of our horses as we entered into this marsh-like area with pools of water, tall grasses that obstructed our vision, until it opened up into a clearing where a home had been erected. And with a noisy announcement of our arrival, the halfling Blom appeared on his balcony to greet us. With a little bit of bribery, he agreed to house us for the evening, provided that we left first thing in the morning. Nearing the point of exhaustion from the travel and the stress, we made plans to retire for the evening. But not before a few of us took advantage of this rare opportunity to have a private moment. Erland expressed his concerns about Safira to Jillian. Graven offered Orba a gentle word of caution, given the dangers we were likely to face. And Beezaura tried to stealthily find out what kind of potion she had pilfered from the East Bukar crossing storage shed. Finally, deep into the night, we lay down to rest. But Erland's meditations were interrupted by a flowering plant that seemed compelled to advance upon him. In an effort to avoid contact, he slipped into the hallway where Blom admitted that there was something he'd sensed about Erland when he first entered the house. And as a tense discussion unfolded between the two of them, Erland wondered exactly what Blom knew and what he might be able to offer. What kind of energy inside of Erland would be calling to the plants and the halfling druid? Would Beezaura and Orba follow the rest of the party to the Myconid camp or take their leave in Mukmu? And could Safira find a way to apologize without telling someone to go fuck themselves?
No.
We find out now on chapter 16 of A Peek Beneath the Veil.
Whew.
No.
God.
I think I know the answer to that last one.
And what would that entail? Erland's words hanging in the air as Blom turns and he starts to shuffle down the hallway. He gets to the end and stops, sort of pivoting his head and shoulders, which quickly sends a sort of cascade of ripples down his robe that gently brushes against the floor. Well, are you coming?
Erland nods and follows.
And you begin to follow him. And Blom disappears around the corner, and you hear a soft sort of click. And when you reach the end of the hall, you can see that a door has been opened up onto this sort of second floor patio. Small circular fountain providing sort of a pleasant trickling noise, and there's several other large potted plants around the perimeter of this patio. And when you take a step out, you see this really beautiful collection of plant life. And there's sort of one impressively large tree that's growing right up next to the left side of the house that sort of reaches over and the branches spill out over into the patio, creating a little canopy roof sort of for this spot. And Blom sort of walks into the center area, and you take another step out. And you can see over to the right the sort of nicely crafted wooden balcony that he was standing out on when he greeted you guys outside the house. And Blom takes a moment, and he sort of relaxes his shoulders a little and the robe shifts. Your training has brought you discipline. That's good. It's probably what kept you alive. Your mind has separated from that which festers inside you, and that has kept you sane. But it does not stop the proliferation. Are you proud, elf boy, to be one of Jillian's lackeys? She targets the disenfranchised. Desperation is a powerful motivator.
Erland sort of leans against the... Is there a place to lean that's not like all up in the plant life?
You could still be in the sort of
casual,
doorway,
like-
like in the doorframe, kind of?
No, I mean, sort of like you said, there's a little balcony, right?
Yeah, off to the right side. Take
yeah.
a couple steps.
Yeah, so I like step out. I thought, is he not on the...
He's kind of in the center of this patio.
Okay, great.
area.
So walk out and just sort of lean on the railing. I don't think I've been with Jillian quite long enough to be considered a lackey yet.
That's what everyone thinks.
If someone presents me with an opportunity to better my position, I take it.
How old are you, elf boy? 30? 35?
Flips.
26.
Oops.
Those with elven blood, even half-breeds, can live up to 200 years old or so. How many of those years would you give up to become something more?
Well, I think that depends on what is being given up and what is being given.
You talk well like a monk. It depends. Maybe I'd have to know. To embrace this power is to embrace the chaos of nature. Is that something that interests you? To become something greater than?
Yes.
Very well. What do you say we try something? Something new?
Forgive me, friend. I've known you a few hours. I'm going to need a little more information.
To control nature is a powerful gift. And he walks over sort of to the balcony, starts to look out onto his property, and he looks over to where the carriage is. His carriage is sort of stationed sort of on the far end of the property, and the horses are lying down at this point. And he sort of holds out his hands and begins to move them. And the reeds in the tall grass sort of hit the horses a little bit, and they get up, and and he pulls his hand up, and a sort of mound of wet earth sort of forms behind the wheels of the carriage, and it sort of causes the carriage to roll. And he's sort of guiding the horses around the edge of the property, sort of gently, the horses each time as they take a step, and continuing to make these sort of bumps in the ground that the carriage kind of rolls down slowly. And he moves it from around the front, sort of to the back of the house. There are many things that someone who controls the plants has power of, that someone who is merely a vessel of his body does not. Normally this takes years, decades of training, druidic, studying, schooling. But I believe that you have a power inside you that you can access at any moment if you would only reach out and grab it.
And which version of this did you train, or did you have this inside you as well?
I trained. A long time. But you are not the first one I've seen it in.
And how did your past experiments go?
Fairly well, I'd say. Some people do not have the mental fortitude to fight it, but given your training and history, you might.
Anytime anyone has ever offered me power, they want something in return, or there is something that ends up getting taken away. What will I be sacrificing for this power?
I think you've lost years off of your life already, and you just don't know it yet. As it grows, it siphons energy from you. I can teach you to control it, and in doing so, not only grant you powers, but perhaps the ability to suppress it when you need to.
So you're saying if I do nothing, this will slowly kill me?
It already is.
Is there any way to remove it without harnessing it?
Not that I've seen.
Well, it seems I'm left with very little choice then.
You have some. Would you like to be one of millions, or one of just a handful?
If you're telling me that what's inside me is going to bring me to an early grave, I don't think that makes me one of millions. I think either way, I'm one of a handful, and it's a question of whether I'd like to live or die as a part of this handful.
Oh, you'll live. And you'll continue your life until one day you you simply cease to exist. I grow tired of your questions, Elf.
What are you looking for?
I'm not looking for anything.
I've told you I'm interested. But I'm not gonna... I need some indication of what being interested means.
Alright. Let's start with 1. And see where that takes us. And I'm gonna ask the rest of you to leave the room.
God damn it! No!
Slowly, quietly, second out. Fine, go ahead.
That's fine.
Okay. Yep.
Okay, see ya.
It's great.
Have a good time.
Just have your phone on.
Yep. I'll have it.
Bye.
Good luck.
Good luck. Bye.
Don't die.
I have seen a number of the afflicted, and everyone is different, but it tends to manifest in one of 3 ways. For some, it merely passes through with mild withdrawal symptoms, headaches, nausea, sweating, insomnia. For some, it poisons the mind, causing memory loss, persistent blackouts that last long after usage is stopped, sometimes causing people to forget who they are entirely. And then there is the third kind. The type that those who even exposed to only a very small amount of it have their entire body chemistry altered irrevocably. Blurred vision, thickness of blood, and darkened fingernails that grow at an abnormal rate. Does that sound familiar to you?
All too familiar. It was some time ago, but it's hard to forget something like that.
It has made you a host. As far as I know, you can't get rid of it, but you can control it. And he walks over to a flower. It has a long stem, sort of thick white petals. Orcaxorisa. It's also known as buckler plant. You heard of it?
No.
It has a defense mechanism built into it. And he takes his hand, and he approaches the flower very slowly with his hand, and sort of gently touches the petals, and it doesn't react. You approach the flower slowly, and it permits you. However, and he takes his hand back, and he reaches out to snatch it, and as it does, the petals sort of curl up, and it hardens into sort of like a bark shell that he grabs, and he holds it and sort of holds it towards you, and he tries to squeeze it. It looks like he's squeezing very hard, but he's unable to. And then he lets go, and he sort of moves his hand back, and slowly the bark seems to fade, and the flower opens back up. We can learn from plants like this, if you'd let me. And he takes his hand. I let him. And he touches you sort of in the middle of your chest, fingers together. And he starts to drag them across your chest. And in doing so, there's sort of a warmth, almost like you swallowed like a hot liquid too fast down your esophagus. And he pulls them slowly at first, and then all the way out. And you get a deep breath. And in that moment, there's a flash of a memory. Kneeling down on a hard marble floor with these garbled voices. It sounds like almost like people are yelling at you underwater. And a hand grabs you sort of violently by the chin, and you see a pair of yellow eyes that look into you for a moment, and then it throws your face down to the ground, and whoosh, the memory is gone, and you're back on the patio. And he's holding his hand against you. You with me, elf boy?
Did you see that, or did you just cause that?
Your eyes went to the back of your head for a moment.
I'm here.
Very well. And he takes the flower, sort of by the stem, and slowly, and he kind of taps it, and in doing so, there's sort of of pollen that sort of puffs out. Take a deep breath. He motions to the flower.
I do.
And you take it in, and it's pleasant at first. It sort of has almost a sweetness in the back of your throat. But then quickly it comes on, and it's almost like a big drag of a stale cigar, like it gets very dry. Sort of wheeze, Make a Constitution saving throw.
2.
2. You take 5 damage, poison damage. As it fills up your throat, you begin to hack. Very well. It hurts. And now, I'm going to hit you. And then as he says that, he reels back and goes in for a swing. 18 to hit. 18 hits. And he hits you across the face, and there's sort of a spatter of blood, and you're still sort of coughing and trying to get your bearings. And you take 3 bludgeoning damage. Not working yet, I see.
Sort of stumble back. Is knocking me unconscious part of the plan?
It might be, and he goes in for another one. 10 to hit.
10 misses.
Misses. So you sort of gather yourself, coughing and a little bit of blood, but you're able to duck out of the way and goes. It's going to defeat the purpose if you try to avoid it. And he goes in for one more swing. 16 to hit.
16 hits.
And as he goes in for the swing, you bring an arm up, seeing it coming, but knowing that it's coming in quickly. And in doing so, holding up a palm, a spiral starts to come out from the palm, seemingly of bark or plant matter, and it creates a circle around your palm that connects with his fist, and sort of pieces of bark go flying. And just as quickly as it appears, it goes back into your palm. There it is. You see? You learn from the plant. And now it is a part of you.
At what point in time are you going to start explaining yourself?
What is there to explain?
I didn't control that. That just happened on instinct.
You will be able to control it. But first you have to learn. I said I'd start with 1. Now I ask you, are you interested in more?
Will I have to take it again?
Will you have to what?
Will I have to take it again?
It's not an easy process. You might be hurt again, if that's what you're asking me.
I'm asking if I need to take extract again in order to do this.
No. It's already in you. That is the point. You will be able to control it without that.
In that case, yes. Continue.
Good. I am glad to hear it. Come. And he walks over to the fountain. And he takes a step in with his sort of sandals on and the robe on. He steps in and the robe kind of sort of floats out, spreads. And it looks like he goes over and scoops something up with his hand. Kali Nalini, lily of life. You find them in slow-moving riverbeds. And they siphon energy from plants as they touch them. It floats down the river. And the grasses that touch it, it takes the water and the energy from them. And he takes the lily and he goes over to another plant and he sort of touches it up against it. And in doing so, the plant that he touched it with starts to sort of crumple, seeming like it almost deadens. The ability to siphon energy from other living matter is a lifesaver in the right situation. Now, and he holds out his hand again. He waits to see if you stop him.
I sort of put my hands down, indicating that.
And again, he touches you in the middle with his fingers. And he draws them out again in that same warming sensation. And he gets all the way to the end of another flash of a memory. A splattering sound. And you open your eyes, and there's a wooden bucket that seems partially filled with vomit. Your own, you think. And you look down, sort of trying to catch your breath, and then feel a tugging at the back of your hair. And you see a finger reach around from your periphery, and someone jams a finger down your throat. You go to vomit, and you're back in the patio. And he's holding up the lily to you. And inside it, in where the sort of petals meet up, there's a little pool of water. It looks a little murky. Drink.
I take it. Are there any visible side effects to anything we're going to do.
Drink it.
I drink it.
You drink it. Make a Constitution saving throw.
11.
11. So you drink it, and sort of learning a little bit from your last experience, you start with a slow sip, and it's sort of almost syrupy. It has sort of a mealy quality to it, and it goes down your throat, and it sort of closes up your throat a little bit, like it feels clogged, but you breathe through it, and it sort of passes after a moment. Come here. And he walks you over to sort of where there's sort of a little planter that has a few things in it. The trick with this one is, much like a flight or fight syndrome with an animal, you have to feel threatened. He reaches down below, sort of behind a rock, and he pulls out a hand crossbow, and he puts it up to you, and as he fires it, 13 to hit?
13 misses.
13. So you duck at the last moment, and the thing goes wide, and in doing so, you step back and you sort of put your hand up on the planter. And when you touch it, you can feel the sort of plants sort of offering their energy to you. And it sort of feels good up through your arm, it feels strong, like it's sort of the flexing of the hand. And you heal 10 hit points. Found that one a little more to your liking, did you?
Is the entirety of this training you attacking me?
Would you stop if I said it was?
Keep the plants nearby, I suppose.
And he walks over to the tree, that big tree that was sort of making a little canopy over the patio. So it's not on the patio, it's off to the side, but it's growing up over. And he goes over to it, and he sort of touches it, and he peels off a little piece of green something. Finky moss, also known as jumping moss, grows on trees and it spreads rapidly. The spores of the plant go through the roots of the tree and spread to other trees. That ability is something we've studied for many, many years, the druid community. And he touches the tree, and he pushes, and as he does, it sort of pushes into the tree, and his arm starts to disappear, and he sort of steps into it as if it was a waterfall or something. The tree doesn't look solid, and he disappears. And you hear, sort of off in the distance, "Look over the balcony."
I do.
You step over to the balcony. You look down into sort of his area, and one of the trees that's in his yard, he's in the process of stepping out of, much like a door of some kind. He sort of steps out, and he gives you a wave, and then he steps back into it, and he appears back on the balcony. Interested?
Sure.
And he takes another piece of the moss. Unfortunately, this one you'll have to eat.
Had a feeling I might. And I'm sort of catching on to the sort of process.
Mm-hmm.
Look at it, give it like a smell. How bad does it smell?
It smells a little peaty. It doesn't smell like, it doesn't have a rank smell, but it doesn't smell like something you'd want to eat.
Pop it in.
Great. Make a Constitution saving throw.
2.
You take 11 damage. And as you eat it, it sort of like builds up in your throat. Like it feels like it sticks to the sides of your esophagus, and like it's almost creating a clot in your throat. And it makes it hard to sort of keep your composure. And while this is happening, he goes in and he touches and he quickly brings his fingers out, and you get a third flash of a memory. A ship moving quickly away from a shoreline, and an ocean breeze that passes over you, and a bright midday sun that kind of forces you to squint, but even squinting, you are able to make out a throng of people waving, wearing blue and white robes, sort of shimmering in the sunlight. And you're back. Care to try? And he holds out a hand to the tree.
I sort of slowly put my hand.
And as you do, it's hard. It doesn't seem like it has much give to it at first. I think we'll have to give you a little push. And he holds his hands out, and he brings them up, and in doing so, a sort of root comes up out of the cracks in the patio that sort of go up, and they sort of grasp you around your legs, so one around each leg. And it seems like it's pushing you towards the tree.
Knowing what's coming, I'm gonna cover my face.
Sure, and it's pushing you in towards the tree, and it pushes and pushes and pushes, and it doesn't seem like the tree's giving any. Make a Constitution saving throw.
9?
9. And as it pushes and pushes, your face gets up against it, and it seems like maybe the tree's starting to have a little give. You take 11 points of damage. And you start to push, and the pain hits you, and finally he lets it go out of the legs, and he runs over and he grabs you sort of as you're fading out of consciousness, and he looks into your eyes. That's always a tough one. And your eyes close. And that's where we're going to end this session. I'm going to tell him to come back in. This is... These are sepsis levels within your body. You start at sepsis level 1.
Okay.
And you have septic abilities. The bark, rejuvenation, and tree striding, walking into one tree and coming out another. Every time you use one, and this is written up here in the sort of blurb, you go up that many sepsis levels. So 1 for these two, 2 for that one. And every time you use one, you go up a level, and you make a Constitution saving throw. And if you are less than 10, you go up an additional level. So there's a chance that sort of the usage of it poisons your body further.
Okay.
If you get to your max, which is 5, something bad happens that you don't know. It's not permanent, it's not death, but it could poison you, you could have disadvantage against rolls, some kind of negative effect that you don't know happens.
Could it be, even though it's not death, could it be some sort of losing of HP?
It could be, yes.
Okay.
Yes, but it would never be something permanent. And
But like that's just something worth knowing. Like if I ever have like 1 HP, like
it could be dangerous.
Probably
to do
don't.
that. Yes.
Yeah, great.
I have a table of things that it could be, and I roll randomly for the effect.
Great.
When you long rest, you go down 2 levels.
Okay.
So it reduces it by 2.
Only 2. Okay.
Yes,
great.
it doesn't completely wipe the slate. No.
Great.
You can take a look at this. So you have these new abilities.
Yeah.
So those are totally separate from anything else. It's not a spell. It's not a key point. It's a totally separate ability that you have.
Great.
I will be...
So they're on their way back.
Great.
Come on back in, everybody.
Oh boy.
A quick shout out, thank you. You guys can keep sitting. To Dungeon Master Paul Weber, who made the graphical things for those cards. He does like equipment cards and spell slot cards. We use some of those. So I used a modified version, one of those. Yeah, you guys like your spell slot cards are the same things. That same design. That's Dungeon Master Paul Weber. So thank you. Thanks for doing design.
It's strange how you announce that now.
No reason.
Hello.
Hi.
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 You with us?
Oh no.
We're still snoozing.
In the later part of the morning,
Oh god.
having gotten to bed sort of deep into the night, the party begins to rise. Orba's the first, rolling over on her kind of comfortable mattress, finding the sun pouring through her window. You can hear sort of a quiet din emanating from the floor below. Seems like there's a conversation happening between 2 people. You're the first to rise.
I had plans, but Orba throws the covers off and curiously goes to the end of the door.
You can't hear it without opening the door. And
Orba like just very carefully grips the door and slowly turns the doorknob.
make a stealth check.
Yeah. 10.
10. So you get to the door, and it goes most of the way, and it clicks a little bit, but as you go to open it, kind of has a squeak to it, and the voice is kind of hushed slightly. It seems, and then they kind of resume, but it seems like the tone of the conversation has changed.
Judging by the sounds of the voices, can I identify who they are?
Sounds like Jillian and Blom having a conversation.
Jillian and Blom. Okay.
Okay.
I don't know why I was so shocked by that.
Those
Two
two.
people of the 5 in the house. Okay.
Those two.
Orba, like, kind of kicks herself a little and shuts her door and goes back into her room for a second. And she gets out some parchment and she starts to write a quick little thing.
Sure.
Or she's proofreading something that she wrote before she had gone to bed that night.
Are
and
you
it's,
telling us, or are you just...
No, I'm gonna say
Okay.
it. I'm going to say it out loud.
Sure.
And she's like gets down on her knees and just gets very quiet for a second, and then practices and drafts her draft. New Kelke, I know I am nothing but a humble civilian, but for reasons beyond my understanding, you have blessed me with good fortune all of my life. I believe you brought these companions into my world, and I thank you for that gift. I am eager to discover why you have chosen these particular individuals to accompany me on my lady's quest. I selfishly must ask you for your continued efforts, not for my own benefit, but for my lady's. I believe her profession, if not her life, is in jeopardy. I beg you, ensure her anonymity in all of this. Ensure my safe passage, not for my sake, but for the sake of her message. I know now how vital my mission is, and I must not disappoint her. She nods and thinks that sounds good, and she folds it up a little bit. She makes her bed, gets dressed, and starts to head downstairs.
Okay. She says a prayer and heads downstairs. And Jillian kind of spots you coming down the stairs. Orba, good morning.
Good morning.
Blom is making hot oats, cabbage, tea.
Those both sound wonderful. Could I trouble you for some?
I'll go get you some. And he sort of gets up, moves towards the kitchen. Have a seat, Orba.
Orba plops in front of Jillian.
How are you this morning? Did you sleep well?
I slept wonderful. How about yourself? How are you feeling?
Much better, I am glad to report.
Good.
A couple of days in a cage and any kind of bed seems quite like a luxury.
Yes, I've enjoyed my bed myself. I do believe I need to share something with you before my companions come down.
Please do.
I don't believe they know this. Guy Lamar is asking about me. He's enlisted the halfling, my halfling, Beezaura, to investigate me. I do not know why. She hasn't given me much information, but you seem to know a lot of things, and if this makes me not eligible for the mission, that's okay, but I wanted to be honest.
And she kind of thinks for a moment, takes sort of a sip of her tea. And as she's thinking, Blom comes out with the meal. He sets it down in front of you. Blom, could you get me a refill on my tea? And Blom looks. It's already mostly full. She sort of looks at him, and I'll get you some more tea. And he walks off. I spent a lot of time in that cage, thinking. Nothing to do but think. And I couldn't help but going back to that moment where we met you on the road. I've no reason to think that you were a part of the Gnolls' appearance. But I have to wonder, given the timing, if they were not there for me. A handful of witherlings after a trained operative. That is a low percentage pursuit. But it sounds about right for one young tiefling. Perhaps I was a consolation prize that fell into their lap when I went chasing them.
You believe that I'm responsible for your capture?
I don't believe anything quite yet. Guy Lamar looking for you? That is not a nobody.
But I do not know why. I don't know why he's curious about me.
She just looks at you for a moment. What's in Navikapura?
It's just somewhere that I want to go. And I don't want to tell you anything more. With all due respect, would you share your secrets with somebody you just met?
No. I spend a lot of time choosing my party wisely. Months of preparation. Graven, Safira, Erland, they vouch for you, and that is not nothing. But on our way to Mukmu, we're going to have to get to know each other better. Or that's going to be your last stop with me. Is that understood?
That is understood, Jillian.
That is not an insult on your part. Merely a requirement of the mission.
I agree, I did not take it as such. I appreciate your understanding. If at any point I get the feeling that my motivations are putting my friends or you or the mission at harm, I will let you know.
Appreciate that. And as this conversation is happening, Safira is the next one to wait.
Yeah, I'm gonna get up, kind of like get dressed, probably.
Safira had a little restless night's sleep after some of the
Really?
thoughts bouncing around in her.
No, I just
No, she
No,
slept like
She's gonna be a half dress.
no, I slept fine. And I'm gonna make my way downstairs.
As you do, you see Orba, Jillian. Good morning.
Good morning.
Breakfast? And she sort of motions to some of the...
Yeah,
things.
cheers. And I'm gonna take he's hot oats.
Yeah, he's got
Okay.
like bowls of hot oats, yeah.
Yeah.
And at this point, Blom, sort of hearing you coming down, comes back, and he's got a pot of tea. Tea?
Yeah, sure.
Pours
Thanks.
it into a mug, hands it to you.
There's no alcohol in it, I'm sorry.
Little early for that, I would think.
Yeah.
Oh. Mm-hmm.
How are you finding yourself, Safira? Now that we have a moment to catch up.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I guess I'm a bit tired.
Aren't we all?
That's a large question.
Just curious, I suppose.
Yeah, I'm fine.
Up until the other day, most of your interaction with Erland, Graven had been supervised by me. I didn't know if you found them any different once I wasn't there.
Well, I suppose we've had our differences, but no, I think that they're intelligent and seem to be able to take care of themselves.
Orba, like, hides her smile as she sips her tea.
Well, I'm glad to hear it. And as this discussion's happening, sort of Graven and Beezaura arrives around the same time. They sort of, the doors open kind of at the same time.
Good morning.
Morning. How'd you sleep?
Very well. Yourself?
Fabulous.
Good.
You hungry?
Yes, a little.
Let's head down.
I'm sure Blom will have something interesting for us.
And you guys make your way down.
Pick some straw out from behind.
You had to curl up a little bit.
Yeah.
The bed wasn't
Yeah, it wasn't
enormous, but
Yeah.
I'm bouncing because I just slept on fluffy sheets.
And you guys make your way down. The rest of the group is there. Blom sort of pouring a few more bowls. I assumed you were coming down soon, so I took it upon myself. And he hands a couple of bowls of
Thank you.
Thank you.
tea.
Of course.
Please.
Takes the kettle and sort of pours a cup of tea. You guys all have a moment here, sitting, enjoying sort of a relatively peaceful morning, all things considered, for this group. You have a sort of moment of peace here.
It's like one big happy family, huh?
Yeah. Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers. I'll take a sip. Well, if you're headed out the back way today, which I assume that was the plan, keep your wits about you. The road was built on top of an excavation site, flooded a long time ago, and Jillian's kind of nodding. It seems like she was aware of this information. It's going to hold the weight of your carriage and your horses. Very well constructed. Now, I've transported wagons of stone, building material through there before. Shouldn't be a problem. You just might hear some creaking and groaning.
What were they excavating?
Some kind of religious grounds. I'm not sure. It was a long time ago.
Oh, interesting.
It flooded and they couldn't continue excavating, so they covered it up. It's sort of a boardwalk or wooden roads latched together.
Oh.
Not dangerous at all.
Shouldn't be, unless you stop breaking boards, I suppose. I don't know how much it's filled in or how much it's a big hole, but like I said, I've gone across it quite a number of times.
That's helpful information, thank you. Yes?
Oh, nothing. It just seems like Erland sleeping in this morning.
Yeah, we all deserve a little bit of extra rest, perhaps.
Sure.
So, as we head to Mukmu, I think we should start thinking about what our next plans are. Given that I lost some of my possessions and things, I'll need a day or two to collect myself. I'll be in touch with a couple of contacts that I have in Mukmu, but you all will have perhaps a day and a half, 2 days to tend to your own business once we get to Mukmu.
And if we are separated, like we were on the way to Oranjupa, where should we report to?
Well, I plan on escorting you all the way to Mukmu.
Yes, well, that didn't go so well the first time.
I suppose that's true. There's an inn called the Lakeside Lodge. It's the largest inn in Mukmu. Might be the only one. Mukmu's not as big a city as some.
Okay.
I'll get you a room there. Happy to put you up for the evening.
That's very kind of you, thank you.
I'll be staying with a friend of mine, Kelsetra. She knows the area very well, and she might have some thoughts about how to safely approach the Shocky Mountains and the nearby Myconid camp, so I'm going to consult her, gather some supplies, and when we're ready, we'll head out.
And how do you typically scout the camps? Is that something we'll discuss later on in the journey?
Yeah. It varies a lot from camp to camp, so it's hard to say generally. We approach slowly, make sure we're not wearing any chain or plate armor, leather or less. Get closer, see if we can get a high vantage point, see how big the camp is. If it has any weak points, we'll probably scout it for at least a day. Run the perimeter, stick to the evenings and the night times, and then we'll make a plan from there. Like I said, the plan is merely information gathering, so with any luck, we'll be in and out.
That sounds like a good plan to me.
But to be prepared for whatever might happen.
Oh.
Well, every once in a while there is a hiccup.
Have you
How
had many
often
hiccups?
is every once in a while?
Of the camps I've shut down? Never.
Really?
Not in the scouting portion,
Oh.
which is what you're about.
Right.
A little trickier to get in close and dirty with the
Seems like
destruction.
an awful lot of people to hire as muscle for the scouting portion.
Well, as I said, the plan was for only 3 additional hands. Now we have a couple of extra, but given the extenuating circumstances, perhaps a couple of extra security bodies might do us some good.
Yes, I think that's a good idea.
How many of these camps have you shut down?
7. This would be my 8th.
Impressive.
And how many of them do you think are out there?
It's tricky to know. I get word from a couple of sources that let me know when they find one or hear of one, but outside of the couple of people that I trust to give me that information, there could be quite a few that I don't know about.
How can you afford to do all of this?
I've built up a decent war chest over my lifetime.
Being an operative?
Yes. Pays well. You have 2 sides or more competing for your services. If you do your services well, bidding wars happen, and you go with the highest bidder.
You must have worked very hard.
Did.
So I'm assuming you've seen it before then. You've seen people who've used this McDonough solution.
I have, yes.
Why did you choose this as your personal mission? What about it?
Just a moral personal crusade, I think. Have you ever seen something that disturbed you, truly? Not just frightened you or made you angry, but disturbed you deeply? That is how I feel. I realize that I've done some things in my life that some would look down on, but there is a line, and these are decidedly over my line. I'm not sure I have a better answer from you than that.
You've never tried it?
No. Operatives are strictly forbidden substances of that nature.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Why is that?
It can make people difficult to control. Not that operatives are controlled per se, but it can make people unpredictable.
Oh. Interesting.
Once we find the camp, what's the next step?
Like I said, we're going to make a note of any potential weak points in their security. Places where we could get in without being noticed, how many people are watching it, what their shifts seem to be. All of those things will be passed on to the next group who's more in charge of getting in there. That will not be part of your mission, so something for someone else to worry about.
Have you noticed that there have been more of these camps propping up recently?
More? I don't think so, no. However, I would say that people have gotten more brazen, less likely to hide the fact that they're affiliated with such camps. For a long time, it was looked down upon, but the effects and benefits are so mighty that now people openly admit that they're part of the operation, or at least invested in it monetarily. Local governments funding such things, where before they pretended not to, at the very least.
So it's common around all types of people, or species.
Sure. I've seen humans running camps, I've seen elves running camps. Doesn't seem to be limited to one species in particular. Evil of all types, I suppose.
Not to belittle your efforts, but have you ever thought of a way to sort of cut the head off the snake rather than take down individual camps?
If I thought I had a good way to do that, that would be something I'd look into. For now, this is all I've got. And perhaps one of these camps will lead me to something greater, turn a small operation into a bigger one, but as of yet, there doesn't seem to be any sort of central operation, not one person in particular, so it's difficult to track down the source.
Nobody taking note of how many camps you've taken down and come after you?
Until recently, no, but I am fairly good at staying under the radar.
The mining operation that Mr. Mullifer said he was investing in, do you think it has anything to do? Could it be that he's creating more mining camps?
I suppose it's possible, although I know quite a few Northerners, and his interest seems to be more in the centralized ports, mining operations, which isn't to say that Mr. Mullifer doesn't have dirty money, but I've seen no evidence to link him directly to such camps.
Can he be directly linked to the Gentle Void?
I'm sure he has done business with the Gentle Void.
I think it could be possible that they're involved. Is there a reason that you haven't looked into it more?
There, meaning?
The Gentle Void.
I know for a fact that the Gentle Void is interested in funding Myconid camps, but again, they're not the only ones.
And they are a large organization.
Yes. From what I understand, factions of the Gentle Void work independently of each other, sort of united in name mostly only. Again, until we get some sort of information that links people to a common cause. I haven't been able to find such a thing myself.
What about these unregistered transportation circles?
What about them?
The
Concerning,
underground
I agree.
Well, don't you think that it could be part of an operation that's trying to distribute the Myconid solution?
Again, it is possible.
Oh, I almost forgot. And Orba takes out some parchment and starts to scribble for Jillian the 2 teleportation circles that we've seen, one of which will also feature the code that we saw being used.
You're right down.
And this is for you in case you ever need to have that information. I don't know what they're, how they're related to us, but you never know.
It's worth noting. Perhaps if somebody's brave enough when we reach a city, if we reach a city that has a transportation circle, we could try the sequence, see what happens.
Unfortunately, I'm not so skilled yet to activate it.
I might have some friends who are, although Mukmu does not have a registered transportation circle. Again, Mukmu is barely more than a town that's thrown together merely because it's on a major river and basin. Tuktu has one.
Okay.
These 7 camps you've destroyed, there was nothing in common. There was no commonality, no thread that.
I don't know what you're looking for, Safira, I'm sorry.
I'm looking for a way to cut off the head of the snake.
That would be excellent. Again, until this most recent one, complications were fairly few and far between. I am hoping, although one does not hope for complications, that this camp, given my capture and all that has happened, perhaps will learn something more significant.
Orba starts to get a little anxious and worried, and she's gonna get up and go up to Erland's room.
Sure shuffles off. Take your steps out.
Excuse me.
And there's only one door that's closed up there now.
Can I put my ear up to it?
Sure.
Do I hear
Make a
anything?
perception check.
12?
Well, listen for a moment. No sound.
She's gonna do her same method of taking the doorknob and just slowly turning it.
Make a stealth check.
20.
Ooh.
This time,
So
she
stealthy.
pulls it and sort of knowing the sort of dragging of the door against the ground, she turns the doorknob and lifts it up a little bit so as to keep it from, and it sort of opens up. You see, laying in the bed, Erland.
He's snoozing.
Seems to be.
He's snoozing.
Okay, Orba breathes a slight sigh of relief and then just quietly closes the door and leaves him be. And then comes back downstairs.
And as you guys are sort of sitting, when Orba went up during this, you guys are sitting around and Blom's pouring out a couple more mugs of tea. And you hear a little bit of, almost like a popping sound, like a small firework, like a
How far away?
sounds kind of far away. Like it doesn't sound in a house. And Blom kind of perks up for a moment. It could be an animal that wandered onto one of my explosive runes. It happens sometimes, unfortunately. He puts down sort of the tea kettle. I'll go up to the balcony and take a look.
Do you get many dangerous beasts coming onto your land?
Dangerous beasts? No, but deer, elk, moose, they're heavy enough to trigger the traps.
Well, what are the traps for if not for them?
Intruders! He says that like that was the stupidest question ever.
You have many people try to get in here.
No, but one can never be too careful.
Understandable.
Right.
Perhaps one of us should go with you, just in case it is an intruder.
If you like. And he starts to walk
I'll walk
upstairs.
upstairs.
Oh.
Okay. Oh.
Oh, sorry.
You can
Oh,
go.
yeah.
We can-
Sure, the two of you.
You're welcome.
Beezaura continues to enjoy her breath.
Oh,
Jillian
great.
doesn't go either. She stays there with you.
Stop it.
She didn't seem overly concerned, Jillian. I mean, she knows Blom's a little eccentric, so, And you guys follow Blom up, and you sort of walk down the hallway, and you see the one closed door that Orba had closed back up, and Orba's sort of passing you by. We're just going to check something on the balcony. You can go downstairs if you like.
Okay.
And he walks by you.
Orba goes down the
Sure,
stairs.
Orba walks back down. Safira and Graven continue out, and he opens sort of a door at the end of the hallway, and opens out in this sort of patio area. And over on the right is that sort of balcony that when you first arrived at the house, it seemed like that's the balcony. Sort of stood and leaned over and talked to you guys from there. And he walks over to the balcony and he takes a look, and there's a little sort of plume of smoke, sort of very small, sort of rising from a spot in his yard. And he takes a look. Yeah, seems like it was an animal or something. Again, it happens.
He's so big.
We can't. You can't. It's far enough away.
Make a perception check.
Well.
First roll than a 9. That's pretty good.
I react to his rolls.
21.
No.
So Blom takes a look, and he sees the smoke and knows sort of the effects, and he kind of shakes his head, and he starts to move away, and Graven kind of takes a spot there at the balcony, and he takes a little look. And near the base of this little plume of smoke, it doesn't seem like there's any animal carcass or blood. It seems like there's bones. Like scattered bones.
Bones like. Just bones.
Bones? Yeah.
We fought something recently that was just bones.
Graven, do you see something?
And Blom's kind of at the sort of the door frame, and he looks back at
Blom,
What?
do you get many undead creatures in these
Sort of
parts?
thinks. He comes back towards you a little bit.
Do you see only bones?
He takes a look. Well, the Black Lions are reckless necromancers. Sometimes they lose track of one of their undead minions and it goes wandering. It happens sometimes.
Yeah, to
I-
me that
yeah,
doesn't
can-
feel like something I can be relaxed
Can I
about.
scan the rest of the
Sure. Make once you
horizon?
both roll perception as you're not going to look and take that round.
19.
I was 3.
So you guys sort of both at the posted at the balcony sort of take a look further around, not just at the sort of spot where the
Yeah.
little small explosion was. And the grass is sort of shaking at the far end of the property.
Couple of
You guys.
places, one place.
Couple of places, yeah.
Blom.
What?
Come back.
He's sort of
Stand right here with me.
And he's sort of there.
Out there, the grass, the movement, the bones. We fought a bone naga when we found Jillian at the crossing. There could be more. Many more. Have you seen anything like this?
What have you brought to my house?
We brought nothing.
You just said you fought them.
We fought one.
And he leans over the balcony and he sort of looks a little more concerned now.
The Black Lions had scattered by the time we had been there. We were there only for Jillian and we came straight here.
None of them followed us.
And the rustling sort of seems like it's getting closer, like as if you could see the grass, it's sort of getting closer to the front of it.
Seeing that, I want to run downstairs and
Sure.
tell the others.
Sure.
So I'm going to run down the stairs.
And you sort of run down quickly, and it sounds like you don't look back, but it sounds like Blom's following you. It sounds like he's sort of... And you come in.
Jillian undead, we think, outside the house.
Okay.
And Blom comes like down a couple more steps. Jillian, there's a crossbow in the pantry behind the shelves. Get it? Who fights from range?
Somebody wake...
You two, you go up the stairs, last bedroom on the left, there's a window. Jillian, you with me. The others, hold the door. Nobody goes through, understand?
I'm gonna get,
Orba-
I'm gonna get
Orba
Erland.
runs-
I'll get the elf, you stay. And he starts to move, and
So-
Jillian rushes to the sort of pantry area. It seems like you hear her pick up like a crossbow that's over there.
I'm running
Yeah.
to the window that you told us about.
Okay.
With Orba,
Sure.
right?
I
You guys sort of
follow.
stand. And it seems like on the way up the stairs, sort of a little cabinet, Blom opens quickly and he grabs something from it that he sort of stuffs in a big pocket in his robe and closes it. And he starts to walk up the stairs.
Was he in front of us when he did that?
Mm-hmm.
Can I see?
Did we see him do
Make a
that?
perception check, both of you. And take that arrow.
10.
15.
So Beezaura, having sort of just seen one recently, you see him slip a healing potion
Oh,
into
shit.
his robe. And he quickly ascends the stairs as the others sort of man their posts. The two of you still sort of down in this sort of living area. And you two are going the opposite way as you get up the stairs, but he goes the other way and he sort of quickly pushes open the door to Erland's room. And he walks over, pulls a healing potion. You guys aren't seeing this, but he pulls a healing potion out and he tips your jaw down, and he trickles the healing potion in. Roll
What?
2d4 plus 2.
Can I say to Graven as the stabbing? I saw him take a healing potion after
2d4 plus 2.
What could that be for?
I don't know. Maybe he doesn't know I'm a healer. He could be worried about himself. We'll investigate it later.
So you you sort of sputter a little bit because you were lying down, and some of the healing liquid kind of dribbles out your mouth. Get yourself ready, Elf. And he sort of picks himself up and he moves, and he sort of meets up with Jillian in the hallway, and the two of them head over. They head over to that balcony patio area that you guys were just out in, and you guys are sort of stationed at the window, and the grass is sort of moving more and more and more. And everybody roll for initiative.
Oh boy!
Come on.
Why do there have to be more undead things? They followed us?
Oh,
You're mad about the guy I destroyed?
Damn it.
Ah, tits!
All right.
I think it's the highest one I've ever rolled.
I was really hoping you weren't gonna.
That's pretty. You did pretty good. This is oh man, look at you.
I was like,
Right,
he's
number
not gonna need to use it.
I'm like ready to get these things. I killed their friend.
You did.
They're
You
after
finished
me.
them off. They
Okay, so
They're after me. I think I did it.
this is Blom's
God.
house here.
Okay.
This is up the stairs and into the bedroom. So Safira and Orba are at the window here. And Erland just got up out of his room, sort of
Wake up!
Stairs back there somewhere. Beezaura and Graven are in the sort of living quarters. And
We're like the front door
Jillian's
is, right?
back.
yeah, so I'll put the door there in a second. And Jillian and weird figure for Blom. So they're on the balcony. This is the patio sort of area that this is where you looked out towards the front of the property. There is a door here that is closed.
Oh, we're behind a door.
Yes, at the moment we're behind the door. Yes.
On the lowest
Wait a
level.
second,
right?
just
Okay, cool.
open it.
I think he said hold the door.
That's true. But if I want to fight, I must go through the door.
Start to see a few undead appearing at the edge.
Oh,
It
bonies.
stings.
Oh my goodness.
So, just so you know, this is not connected. That looks like
Okay.
so.
Okay.
And this is not connected.
Right.
These, this is like the side of the house here and here. So you could leap out the window if at any point you need to do that. But
From a second level.
yeah, you're on the second story
Yeah.
at the moment. Yeah.
And we have to. So they're outside below the things, the creatures.
Yeah.
Yes, but you guys are on the first level.
Oh, so we can just
They're
walk
coming-
out the front door.
Yeah, you guys are at
Probably.
his door to his house.
he
Yeah.
said
So.
no.
Right. We're not going to.
Okay. 20 to 25.
Do I roll initiative as well? Even
Yeah.
because all he said was get.
Yep, roll.
Maybe you should.
20 to 25. Nobody. All right. 15 to 19.
19.
Oh, wow.
17.
Wow, really alert. Getting up.
What did you have?
Up and out.
That healing potion is the
Jillian
back of your
16.
throat.
Okay. Are you still rolling for people?
Skeletons 16 also.
Okay.
Man, we.
This is the highest one I've ever rolled. And it's the
Okay.
lowest.
We're good there. 10 to 14.
13.
Okay.
Zombies 11.
Oh, there's zombies and bone
Yeah, well,
guys.
it looks like 2 zombies, 2 undead,
Yeah.
I think.
2 and 2.
And then 10 was Blom.
Okay. 5 to 9.
8.
All right.
What'd you get?
Me?
Yeah.
I got a 5.
Whoa.
See most of it here.
Man, we're really taking up the rigor here.
No, we have like split.
Yeah, we're a little split. I think that's everybody.
That's everybody?
2, 3,
There's a
4,
lot of us
5,
now.
6, 7. 5, 6, 7. And then 2 zombies and 2 skeletons.
Great.
Great. I'm like, hang on to this pen because I feel like you never know.
You
All right.
never know.
All right, Erland. Rising from his bed, he's in first one, ready to
He
go.
gets the potion. He's like,
Well, so like
Does
sort
that
of kicks
kick up?
the back of his throat and it like pulls him out of unconsciousness.
And you hear the kind of clattering around the house as people are sort of shutting
Yeah.
doors.
So at the very least, I would know how far away I am from. Where do I hear the most, like, where do I hear people right now?
I mean, you can. So this was down the hall and out into that which you've been to, the patio sort of area.
Yeah.
So you can hear people running in that direction. You can hear a commotion downstairs. That sounds like you don't know that it's Beezaura and Graven, but some people are downstairs.
Okay.
And you know the general layout of the house. You walked up, so.
Yeah, I mean, I guess without knowing what's going on, I'm gonna use my movement to go down the stairs.
Sure, you go. That was 25 feet of movement.
25 feet of movement.
Yeah.
So then
So
I
Erland
see.
comes
So
downstairs.
who's down there?
That's
You
Beezaura and
two?
Graven.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Undead on the way.
What are we doing?
They're coming towards the
They
house.
said hold the door,
Is the door
but
closed?
Yep.
Yeah.
So
Mom said hold the door, but
Are there-
we can't stay back here for long.
Are there windows?
there's probably one here and one here, both facing out.
All right. Can I see the undead through the window?
Yeah, you can see some approaching through the window. Yeah.
All right. I'm gonna sort of. I'm just gonna assume a defensive position.
Sure.
If it says I have to be touching Earth, does that mean I need to be outside?
That would not be Earth. Yes.
It has to be outside.
Yes.
Great.
You touching wood, boy.
I'm gonna.
You ain't touching her. Sorry.
You don't know what my solo session was. I'm gonna assume a sort of defensive position, just
Sure.
ready with a hand available.
Like at the window.
I'm gonna be behind them, but I'm gonna be given that I can see the undead through the window, just in case they throw like a projectile or something.
Sure.
I want to be at the ready with a hand available.
Here, we'll move on. Like there.
And I think that is my turn.
You can also go into. You can. What's it called? Dodge is the action. You can take a dodge action. Yeah, which gives them disadvantage on.
Oh, I can just take a straight up dodge.
Yes.
Okay, great. Then yeah, I'm gonna take a dodge.
Yes.
as
So
my
if you're not
action.
trying to attack.
What?
Take
Great.
a dodge.
Is that like loading up a dodge?
Yeah, you can if you instead of attacking, if you take the dodge action, you can.
Oh.
They get disadvantage on.
Oh,
an
I
attack.
get
Oh, cool.
Yeah, that's cool.
I'm nervous.
Yeah.
It's going
Wait, can anybody do that? Can I do
Yeah.
that?
Yeah.
Wait, so
Sick.
can you
But
say
you
that
can't
again?
attack if you do that.
Right, right.
You
It's
like
your,
take more defense?
As an action, you can dodge, which means anyone who tries to attack you until your next turn gets disadvantage against their attack.
You're like ready.
but then you don't get to
yourself.
attack.
Yes, it would
Right.
take up that action, yes. So it's used, if you can't attack on a given turn, you might go into a defensive sort
A
of
defensive mode.
posture. Yeah.
So, yeah, quarterstaff's out in one hand, other hand's ready at the defense, and then I'm waiting, sitting there with a dodge.
Great, Safira, you're up.
Okay, so I like wrench open the window and I can see which one is the one that's closest to the house.
Those, I mean, these three are all.
Okay,
You
so
step
I'm gonna
around and
fire at the one that's like closest to the
one?
house. I'm
This
gonna
one?
fire, yeah, that one. I'm gonna fire the ensnaring arrow that
Alright.
I have at it.
Just read that just so everybody.
If a creature takes damage from this arrow, the target must succeed on a strength saving throw or be restrained by magic until the start of your next turn.
Cool.
A large or larger creature has advantage on this saving throw once
He's
it hits a
not
target. Okay. The ammunition is no longer magical.
Great.
Yeah, okay.
So Safira, she sort of pulls it up, and there's sort of a wisping sort of green for the arrow.
Yeah.
Takes it out.
Oh, gosh.
Oh no.
We're like, yeah.
10 to hit.
And it's a skeleton, misses. So he's
Yikes.
staring out, sort of a wisp of green,
No.
and it sticks into the ground, sort of near him, and he kind of sees it, and then continues his approach towards the house.
do you have?
1.
Oh, my heart.
It's a nice idea.
Does she ever get it back?
It's not magical as soon as it hits a target.
Well, it didn't hit a target.
It hit the
Can she run
ground.
out and like get out of the tree?
She runs over,
It
she
hit
runs over
her.
to the grass.
Mink. All right.
Wow, I'm useless, you guys. I'm sorry.
All right. Okay. So Jillian's up. So Jillian sort of loading up the crossbow that she picked up from the last. She takes aim and she's gonna fire at the this
that
closest
noise.
zombie here. 20 natural
Oh,
20.
Jillian, big cheesy.
Great. So
Nice. That was cute.
I never rolled that badly on it.
12 damage. So she fires and the arrow and it hits the zombie like right in the chest where it kind of sticks.
Does he die automatically? Come on.
No,
Not this time.
didn't do that one.
Solid argument, but
Yeah.
no.
I feel like he should just be done.
last time.
Pick him off the list.
Great. So then she takes that and she then starts to reload another arrow.
Okay.
Skeletons are up. So skeletons start to move forward.
We got high ground advantage, guys. It's fine.
And I'm very strong. So I will hold that door.
5, 10, 15, 20.
look at one? Unless he comes to.
So he's gonna dash, but he can't now use an action to try and break the door down because he couldn't reach it.
Am I right up against the door?
We're like right there.
Yeah, you could be if you wanted to. Yeah.
Okay.
20. So they both dash. So they're both at the door, kind of, but they can't make an action yet to try and knock the door down.
All right.
So that's the skeletons. Beezaura, you're up.
Oh gosh, they're right behind the door. Nobody's even really that close to them except for us.
I mean,
You could either swing the door open and attack, or you could fortify the door. I mean, you can
What purpose is going to fortify the door?
letting the ranged people shoot at them from the
yeah,
balcony.
just hold them so that they don't get to attack anybody.
That's true.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe I'll try to do that.
Okay.
Is there?
Yes. Let's put you up.
Oh!
Oh, Graven!
Graven, get out of my way! I just literally pick them up.
Can you imagine you knock over?
So I'm just like holding it.
Great. So yeah. So Beezaura sort of digs her feet in and sort of gets into a hard position. So when they make a strength attempt to try and sort of bust the door, they'll do it with disadvantage because you're holding the door.
Okay.
Graven just watches her set up like that. Like, oh.
I got him.
All right, zombies up, and they're gonna lurch forward. I think they're slower. Yeah, they are. So 20, and this one's gonna dash, and it's wading through like a pool of water in Blom's yard, and it starts to sort of grab at the edge, and it seems like it's trying to pick itself up and climb the side, which it can't yet.
Is it like? Does it seem like it's able to get a grip?
Maybe, yeah.
Okay.
If he succeeds the check.
Okay, sure. Thank you.
20, and this one's gonna go for the door. So these three have sort of swarmed the entrance. Blom, great. So Blom,
Make that ground move,
he sort
buddy.
of looks over the edge and he sees the enemy sort of knocking at the door, and he holds out his hands and he starts to, and roots kind of sprout out from the ground, and he's gonna attempt to entangle the ones near the door. Let me, they make a save, so it's 2 skeletons. Sorry, I have a lot of things.
That's okay. Take your time.
Says Orba from the balcony.
Oops.
To the zombie. Dashing towards her.
Relax. It's
Don't worry
going
about
to be
it.
fine.
You'll make it here eventually, zombie.
The 2 skeletons fail and the zombie passes. So the roots kind of come up and they go through the bones of the legs of the skeletons and kind of hold them in place. So they're both restrained.
Wow.
Until the spell ends, and at the end of their turn, they can try and break free of it. Yeah, so he's sort of like holding them there with the roots. He's kind of the zombie is not rooted, but the 2 skeletons are.
Sweet.
Graven.
All right. So in theory, this door swings towards us, and
Yes.
she's holding it. And if I did the same thing, would they have to make like 2?
No, there's no double disadvantage. The door's not wide enough for the 2 of you to both have a good sort of.
Yeah.
There's windows. If you have a ranged spell, you can shoot one out the window.
Ooh.
Yeah. Well,
Spicy.
Zora, looks like you've got this. You're over there,
Yes,
so
there's
I'll
another
come to the
here.
window on the
Yeah, so
right,
he sort of comes over the window there.
and I'll, get a good look. We crouch down to look out the window.
Sure, you can peek out the window. Yeah.
And throw a sacred flame at the one closest to me.
Sure. So
there.
what's the thing on that?
Target must succeed on a dexterity saving throw.
11. Your spell save is
Fails.
fails. Great. So what's the
So it takes 1d8 radiant damage.
Right. Roll for damage.
Which guy? Which one's that? Which guy?
The one closest.
Great,
to
great,
it.
great.
5 radiant damage.
Great. So he like leans out the window and then comes back in the window,
Yes, Graven.
and the skeleton kind of reacts to and he's sort of locked down. Actually, that. Oh no, it was a saving throw. Creatures. Let me just.
Kills him.
Was that a dexterity saving throw?
It was a dexterity
Okay,
saving
so he
throw.
would have had disadvantage because he's restrained, but he failed anyway. So, but yes.
Okay.
So he has disadvantage on dexterity saving throws.
Okay.
He's entangled.
All it says is, throw or take 1d8. There's nothing on a fail or any, or a success or anything.
Yeah. Right. So it shoots the light. All right, Orba, you're up.
Okay, Orba sees the one zombie that's trying to climb up to where Jillian and Blom are, and she's gonna
hold out her palm and cast Chill Touch.
Okay.
And as she does it,
This one here that's climbing.
yes, and as she does it, she goes, "Look, Safira, I'm being very careful," and she casts it. And I said it in a nice way.
This is just an attack roll.
This is an attack roll. I think it's just a 9, but let me double check. I'm sorry. Oh no, 14.
14
Oh,
hits.
what?
That's much better.
I forgot.
Not better than 9.
1d8. Okay, hold on. There you are. 6.
6, right? So the sort of chill goes out, and he's sort of dripping wet with a little bit of the water that he waded through, and it kind of freezes around him, and creates, some of the flesh kind of tears off.
Cool. And now he can't regain hit points until the start of his next turn, and he also has disadvantage against me.
If he tries to attack you.
Yeah, which he won't, but that's fine.
Hey, who knows?
Be a fast zombie. Great. Okay, so we're gonna add a couple more people.
I told you, that's why I kept
Is it like
this.
an army of
Which
them?
guy did you?
I hit the one climbing right near
John, could you grab the blood?
We're never going to be allowed backup Bloms.
Yeah, Blom's gonna be a bit grumpy.
So it looks
open
like
that door,
few
baby.
sort of. They seem skeleton-like, but they lumber forward, and as they push their way through the tall grass, it seems like they're armored. They seem like they have some. Make a history check.
Oh.
Okay.
Jesus God.
13.
13. You recognize. So these are wights, which are sort of powerful, sort of undead armored creatures, and they begin to sort of lumber through. And
Armored whites approaching.
17. Do you have the numbers?
Yes, it's
Okay.
tied with Safira then.
Okay, we'll put them second because they just came in.
I'm gonna put armored
whites.
whites, right?
W-I-G-H-T.
You called them that. Okay. Are they holding any kind of weapons or anything?
Yes, they have swords.
Man.
Like old rusty swords or like nice and fresh swords?
They look kind of rusty from here.
Anything
Oh, great.
ranged on them?
It doesn't look like it.
Excellent.
Good call.
The skeletons look at least one skeleton looks like it has a bow on its back. It doesn't. It's currently not wielding the bow, but it has.
Which skeleton?
The
is
one
that?
in the middle there.
Great.
Oh, okay, got it. All right. I'm gonna. I'll let you. We're gonna hold it. I'm gonna hold it.
All right, back to the top.
Top is Erland.
All right. So, is that window in front of me open?
You can open it without an action.
Without an
yeah,
action.
you can- Simple physicalities.
Yeah.
Without an action. Yeah.
And which of the guys are entangled in front of me?
The
Sorry.
two skeletons, not the zombie. This is the zombie, not entangled. These two are.
And
he's
does
dead.
entangled mean they are
What's going
able to
on?
attack?
They
have-
yes, but they can't. They're restrained, so they can't move, and your attacks have advantage against them.
Okay. But can they? So if they get untangled, if I'm not next to them, they have to expend an action to get untangled. Correct?
No, at the end of their turn, they can attempt to untangle without taking an action to do so.
Okay. I'm gonna.
It's at the end of their turn, so you know they would
Um,
lose their turn still, or if they couldn't attack me.
This is a truly terrible idea. How is that?
Flip out the window and flip back in.
Is that zombie? Is that zombie
This initiative has a very
climbing up right now?
Yeah, it looks. He's just at the base, but it looks like he's about to attempt to climb up the side there. And there's more kind of to grip onto. There's sort of an overhanging wooden balcony that looks like he could grab. The other side that you guys are on is very flush. It's like a stone wall. It would look difficult to climb.
Are they actually like right above us?
Who?
Everybody else.
Both of these are on one floor above you guys.
But like horseshoe
like
over.
right above.
No,
Or on-
it is
on the
around the
side.
side. You
Yeah,
guys
yeah,
are.
sides.
The house has like
Yeah.
a main portion and then two
Then
wings.
flanks it, yeah.
Oh, so it does kind of come out like that.
Yeah,
Okay,
it
cool.
looks just like
It's a
they're
cool
just
house.
level.
It is a cool house. It's about to get fucked up.
Sick house, Blom.
Yes, how's bro? All right.
Okay, I am going to, God help us all,
Do it,
Oh
boy.
my God.
jump out the window.
Do it.
And I'm gonna go
Make an
for
acrobatics check.
I'm gonna
Oh boy.
Yikes.
We always get hit with the acrobatics.
11.
11. Okay, so the window swings open and he tumbles. I mean, it's not a.
So how much movement does it take for me to get in touch with that zombie but not touching the skeleton?
10. That was 10 there. Yeah.
Great,
And
okay.
you are touching the zombie, but not touching
And
the
so
skeleton.
jumping out the window, going baseball bat overhead
Right.
at that zombie guy there.
Make an attack roll.
Put away my staff, take out my baseball bat.
22 to hit.
22 hits.
Yeah.
Nice.
I guess I didn't say what kind of hit it was. I guess I did this.
Yeah, baseball bat style.
Great.
I assume
So
that
that's
was 2 hits.
1d8. So he takes 5 bludgeoning
Right,
damage.
whacks, and it sort of squishes against the sort of rotten zombie body.
Yikes.
Okay.
You said 5, right? Was that
Yes.
I said 5.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, you wanted my attention.
Okay, so just can I see where those skeletons are? They're coming up. They're coming right up.
You metagaming bastard.
I'm not yeah. Okay, Erland knows nothing. And then, what am I standing in right now?
Like a very shallow pool of water. You're just on the edge of it. Yes.
So, but is it like a paved pool or is there earth underneath?
There's earth underneath it.
Erland's gonna sort of put one hand down, connect to the earth, and feel some energy go up his hand and use rejuvenate.
Great. You see in the you guys looking out the window, the water kind of pulses a little bit, and this sort of ripple of water goes out. Just read the description of this.
So, using enhanced survival instincts, you can draw the vitality of planted life around you. As a bonus action, you may heal 10 HP over 30 seconds, 2 hit points a round for 5 rounds. If you are in combat against a hostile creature, you must maintain contact with the earth or living, non-hostile plant of your size or larger. Healing ends early if you end your turn without making an attack, including the turn you use to rejuvenate or you are knocked unconscious.
Right.
Only, I assume, by the way, that means that, healing ends when I am knocked unconscious, not if I don't attack, I get knocked unconscious.
Yes.
Right. And only one instance of rejuvenate can be active at one time.
Right.
So I need to
so
do
so you get the 2 hit points for this round. You instantly heal those 2.
Great.
And you will heal 2 each round as long as you attack each round.
Yes.
If you ever end a round without attacking, the healing stops.
And he has to stay touching the earth.
Yes.
And I need to do a Constitution saving. For
Yes.
You don't have that.
1.
Great. So you go up 2 levels.
Yes.
All right.
Whoa. What?
You don't know what that is.
What is going
You see
on?
Erland sort of. It seems like that he siphoned the energy of the sort
And
of.
it takes
Can
him
I see it
takes
too?
him a little.
Yeah, you can see.
It takes him a little longer to come out of it than he expected, and then comes back, and then sort of comes back up.
Great. Is that it?
That's all I can
Who's up?
do.
So he.
Safira.
So I'm so mad that I missed my last arrow, and I'm gonna shoot at.
Who was shooting that?
I'm gonna shoot at the zombie that's closest to Erland.
Okay.
With a regular arrow. Because Jesus. 18 to hit.
18 hits. Roll for damage.
And I think it's below its hit point maximum, right?
It is because
So
it's
it
been
takes
hit by
an
Erland.
extra 1d8.
Great.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yes.
Wait, is
Love
this
those non-magic
d8?
Yes,
This
you are
is-
right.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
Oh my god, yes it is. You guys, this requires me to do way
12.
too much different. 12, yes.
Those were the 2 dice rolls. You won't add
And
anything
does
else?
that your weapon
Oh,
has-
no, actually, 15, sorry.
15. Great.
That's gotta kill a zombie, man.
It's close. It goes thunk, and it hits him, and it kind of rattles against sort of Erland's body. They kind of bump up against each other, and it kind of waves back, and it looks pretty busted up, but it's still standing there.
White.
Whites. The whites, great. So the whites sort of coming out of the grass. One of them is kind of hacking away at the tall grass as it's pushing
People
through.
scare me.
And they're going to move. So that dashed, so he can't do anything else. And this one is going to dash and attempt to climb the side here. 15. So it does it. So it's sort of climbing up the side, and it with its last sort of breath of movement, it pulls itself up to the side of the balcony there. But that ends its turn.
That's Jillian and Blom on the left side?
Yes. And this white looks like it's coming towards the door.
Hey, Beezaura.
Who's up?
It's Jillian.
Jillian, great. So Jillian sort of sees the white coming up over the side, and she's just finished loading the bow, and she fires it. 20 again, Jillian.
Yes!
Working with
She's back with a
She's
vengeance.
chomping at the bit in that
She's
cage.
like, I'm out of the cage and I'm ready to rumble.
The white, the armored thing that just showed up is the one that already got up there.
Yeah.
Yeah. it used a dash action.
He came to
additionally.
play.
Cool.
So the white sort of looks like it takes a big hit, and it gets hit for 12 damage. Great, and it looks like she's getting ready to load up another arrow. Who's next?
Skeletons.
Skeletons are next? Okay, so the skeletons, both of them can't move.
Yeah, that's right, they can't.
So they can't make they're not going to be able to make an attempt. They're sort of reeling towards the door, but they can't pull their feet out of the ground. They're both going to attempt to escape the restraints. That's a failure. That's a pass. So this one here passed. So he sort of pulls a bone out and it kind of, one of the vines comes loose. So he is loose and can now, he can't do it now, but in future turns he can. Who's next?
Beezy.
Beezaura, help.
I don't know.
Can I yell one more thing?
Sure.
Get out here!
Okay, so
Blom's not gonna be happy.
I guess I have to leave the door. Like, what am I supposed to
Sure.
stand there the whole time? So I gotta go out the window, right?
Or you can swing the door open.
Well, then they're just gonna come right in.
But without you barring the door, it's not going to be difficult for them to push the door.
That's true. So I guess I'm just gonna open it up and go after the guy that.
Right, so she's holding against it. She sort of loosens and swings the door open.
And then the guy that's not in restraints is right there.
Is this guy? Yeah, you can reach him.
I'm gonna take the flail and just go for it.
Make an attack roll.
Yeah, Blom's not gonna be happy.
Nope.
Look.
22.
22 hits. Roll for damage.
We kill them all before they get
D8.
inside.
Thank you. 6.
6 total.
Yeah, I rolled a D8 plus 2.
Great. And then
That'd be awesome.
the skeleton is weak. Is it bludgeoning damage, the flail? The
Yeah.
type? So it's
2
going to do
bludgeoning.
double damage.
Go.
So she swings the flail and it hits the bones, and the skeleton just kind of shatters into dust.
Yes!
These skeletons are my bitch.
Anything else?
Who's next?
It would be the zombies.
Oh.
You also have that heal ability, I think. Not the
Yeah.
self heal. You can heal an ally also. I don't know if
Yeah,
that's
can someone take a.
Does he know? Does she
I
know
don't
that
know. I
you're
didn't know what
hurt?
you were at.
Oh,
Yeah. She can see that he's beat up a little bit. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
It's called like rally or something. That's the name of it?
Yeah, give friend health is called rally. Or I can give someone
Boon rally.
advantage. Oh.
You killed the creature, so you can't use that one. That gives advantage.
Got it. Give
You have advantage
friend-
against that corpse there.
Oh, it's against the one that I attacked.
Yes.
Oh, I got it. Okay. So Erland would need the health, right?
You can see that he's got some cuts and scrapes and bruises.
Is it really that detrimental?
Can I see her? What can I see in this moment?
Not much. She's
So
still
the
inside
door
the
just got
house.
swung
Yeah,
open
so
and
the
the
door swung
skeleton
open
went to
and- yeah.
bits.
That's the way she should always interpret.
I think I'm gonna hold off right now, just in case anyone gets worse.
Okay, great.
He just cuts. It's not like he's.
Dying.
Do you, girl?
You do you. Don't let anybody else infringe on your
Yeah,
turn.
back up and just kill
Who's
the
up?
guy.
Zombies.
Zombies, great. So this one's gonna go first. He's gonna attempt to make his way up to the end, which he fails terribly. So he starts to climb, and his sort of mushy, fat
Ew.
fingers sort of
Gross.
slide off of the edge. He can't get up. So instead of doing that, he's gonna
He's
lumber.
disembodied himself.
He's gonna lumber over to Erland and take
Oh,
a
so
swipe.
now I feel like even more.
And he's just gonna try and smack you.
Okay.
9 to hit.
9 misses.
9 misses. So he goes sort of.
Yeah.
He takes a swing. He's sort of his feet are still in the water, so it slows him down. And he swipes.
Falls, misses,
He's
loses.
missing fingers now. What a
He's really embarrassed. And then the other
he just
zombie
strunks
is
away.
also going to take an attack against
I
him.
never do this, guys.
16 to hit.
So here's my question: if it's the same, does it hit?
Your armor class is 16. It hits. Yes.
Great. Okay. So I'm gonna. It's 16. He rolled.
Yes.
Erland's gonna swing up an arm, and you're gonna see a big branch come out of his hand,
What the heck?
blocking the attack.
Right. Oh, this sort of shield of bark comes out.
And then it's gonna come back.
And as it sort of popped up, he slammed against it and it sort of crashed.
Oh yeah.
I turned to Graven. All of a sudden, he's a man of nature.
The DC on a fail. Increase the amount shown to make
If it was 10 or better, you passed.
10. Oh, great! I did. I
Great.
passed.
So you only go up by
Yeah.
What the heck?
Great. Who's next?
It's like a living
Blom.
plant.
Blom's next. Great. So it's Blom sort of looking down at what's happening. He sees the white kind of coming up. He's sort of assessing his targets, and he's going to make a attack. Make sure I have the right one. Great. So he sort of summons a little bit of. Seems like it's sort of a misty, watery energy, and he sort of fires out. He's going to make an attack. Oh. 20!
Those guys!
We need NPCs around more often.
Thank God he hasn't been rolling
So
this one for the zombie.
this sort of jet
Yeah, I
of
know.
icy water comes out. It sort of hits the white, and he takes 8 damage.
The white on the balcony, correct?
Yes, who was already hit. So he's got a couple sort of pieces of armor that have sort of dented. Great. And he's Blom sort of seeing all the creatures sort of approaching the house. He takes a look, and he starts to move back towards into the center of the house.
What?
Hey, bro.
Why?
Bro.
Oh, I guess he's helping down though. That's nice.
Graven.
Great.
Kind of keeping one eye on that, but also being flabbergasted by what's going on with. I'm gonna rush by Beezaura and out the door and kind of put myself, like right here-ish.
Yeah.
And now this one was still
That one is still entangled.
Still entangled.
Yep.
Okay, so I'm gonna go for this zombie right
Okay.
here.
Great.
And I'll swing my mace.
Great. That's the one that's been severely injured.
Yeah.
Beezaura hit it and Safira hit it.
So
No, I didn't.
Erland hit it and
I didn't
Safira
hit
hit it. Yeah.
we'll talk about this later. swing my mace at its head. So attack roll. 8.
8 against the zombie.
Yeah.
8 hits. Roll.
Oh my god, yeah.
Oh, zombie's not that good. Not that good.
Yeah, they're not wearing any armor that you can see of. Also, they're just sort of
7.
7 damage. Great. So you swing the mace and it sort of connects with the sort of bloated, squishy head, and it kind of and it falls
That
down
noise is great.
into the water.
Oh.
Yeah.
There's not really room
27 to
to
go.
put myself in between
In between where?
Erland and the other one, huh?
It's right up against him. So
I'll just kind of like put my shoulder to his and
great.
like
The two of them
get
kind of
ready.
stand almost back to back.
Yeah.
Oh wow, brothers.
It's been a moment.
Great.
You done?
Yep.
Orba.
That's it.
Orba.
So Orba saw everything that Erland just did, and you just see like a wave of jealousy come across her face, and she knows she has to impress the boss lady, so she like kind of revs up again and points her palm toward the white near Jillian and casts Chill Touch again.
Across this one here. Yeah.
With all the fiery rage that she just watched Erland do that. So let's see. That's an 18.
18 hits.
Okay.
We are a well-oiled combat.
5.
5.
Don't
Great.
jinx it.
So another jet of sort of icy, chill energy, and it kind of hits
And then
off
she
that.
looks back over at Erland.
Great.
And at the top with Erland.
Great. Erland, you're up.
So do I heal now?
Yep. 2 hit points heal now.
That's great.
Good thing I didn't waste my thing.
Oh yeah, you guys didn't know that. Yeah.
I'm gonna slap you across the face.
So I'm engaged in combat with that zombie in front of me, yeah?
Yes.
All right, great. 2-handed quarterstaff, jabbing him right in the face.
Great.
That's not gonna do it. 7 to hit.
7 misses. Yep.
Ooh.
So you go for the jab, and it steps in a pool of water and kind of sinks, and the jab goes over its head.
Are those 2 skeletons near me still entangled?
There's only one skeleton, this one, and it is still entangled. The other skeleton died.
Oh, that's another zombie.
This is a white,
the other one.
white
Oh,
zombie.
that's a white as well.
Yep.
Jeez. Okay. In that case, I'm going to After doing that, I sort of take a step back and go into a patient defense.
Great.
Using a key point.
Okay. Safira.
Safira.
Okay, so seeing that white is up there with Jillian.
This one is on. Yes, he has climbed up onto.
Okay, so seeing that guy has gotten there, I'm kind of like judging between Erland and Jillian which one I should shoot at. I think I'm gonna shoot at the zombie that's nearest.
That's Erland.
Erland.
This one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Great.
So I'm gonna just regular arrow, shoot my longbow.
Regular old arrow.
Just, you know, yeah.
Well, I did give you
45.
50. So
25 hits.
Yeah, right.
I
keep
thought
going.
it might. And it's below its hit point, right?
It is, yes.
That's
12.
12 damage. Great. So the arrow goes loose and sort of up against the side there where...
Because it was below its hit point, right?
Yes, it was, yeah. And the arrow kind of hits and it goes through its neck and it kind of pins it to the side. And this one.
Yeah!
Juicy.
Go, girl.
Great. Anything else?
Yeah.
Jillian's up.
Jillian.
No,
No,
the whites.
no,
It's
the
the
whites.
whites.
The whites.
Oh, the whites are next. Okay, so this first white. So he's climbed up and he sees Blom kind of make a run for it. He's been hit with a couple things. And he sort of charges forward. He takes a couple steps. Sort of. You can hear the clanking of the armor. It's kind of clunk, clunk. And he's going to take a couple attacks. So he makes a multi-attack with his longsword. That one misses. That one hits. So one hit. So he takes one, and Jillian kind of ducks under, but he takes a backhanded kind of cloosh and clips her, and it's 98. So it hits her in the side of the head. She didn't see it coming, and she sort of went up to deflect it, but it kind of hits her. She takes 9 damage.
Oh, no. Jillian, you're on a roll. No pun
Great.
intended.
So that's that one. So this next one sort of chunk, chunk, you can hear the boots kind of crunching against the dirt. He's going to run for it. It's going to take an attack at Graven.
Love you, buddy.
This is a double attack, so he's going to take 2. Or he's going to attack first with his longsword. 19 to hit.
19 hits.
19 hits. So he takes one swing and you go up with your shield, but it kind of, the impact is too big. And you take 8 points of slashing damage.
I'm going to use my Stone's Endurance.
Nice.
So I can use my reaction to roll a d12, add my Constitution modifier, and reduce the damage by that total.
Great. Go for it.
So d12.
So as he swings the sword, and Graven can see that the impact's coming, he kind of, and his skin kind of turns to stone.
Constitution modifier is that 5.
So you take 3 points of slashing damage.
Okay.
So the sword still kind of hits you, but you feel that the impact was lessened.
I took 3.
Yeah, because it was 8 minus your 5 reduction, right?
Minus 5, yeah. Okay.
Great.
And
so
another attack.
Yeah, so he makes another attack, but this time he doesn't bring up the sword, he brings up a hand.
Oh boy.
And it seems like a mist is sort of... and it seems like he's trying to siphon the life out of you.
Oh, can I use Warding Flare on that?
You may, yes, it's an attack. Yep.
Yeah, it invokes Divining Light, attacked by a creature. Use my reaction. Have I already used a reaction for the...
Was the other one a reaction?
Yeah.
Then yes, you can't take it.
Oh, alright.
Right, so and life kind of gets drawn. 16 to hit?
16 hits.
16 hits. So you can feel the life kind of coming out, and your breath kind of seeps out of your lungs. And you take 4 necrotic damage, and your hit point maximum is reduced by that much.
Okay.
For how? Forever?
You don't know. No, not forever, but you don't know when
What's
that comes back.
necrotic? What's that?
It's like necrotic is like decaying, sort of undead. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Not the good damage, it's bad damage.
Okay. Gross.
Do we know, based on seeing that, we would assume that the I think whites, we would see that they are capable of some sort of magic. Mm-hmm. Would we know, based on seeing that, whether or not the white healed itself doing that?
I don't think that one's taken any damage yet.
Yeah, he hasn't taken any damage.
But like, would we know that thing is?
Make a history check of your knowledge of the undead and what he passed.
Ooh, 20, not natural 20, but 20.
Yeah, it doesn't heal him as far as I know.
It does not heal.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
All right, so the third white, he's within range of Beezaura. So he sees Beezaura sort of there, and he's gonna take one hack with his long sword. 8 to hit.
Nope.
8 to, so he goes in, and she's still sort of standing in the sort of door frame, and it kind of splinters off a piece of the door frame. And he goes in for a second attack.
Yeah, right.
19 to hit.
Oh.
Damn it. Just.
19 hits. So you take 6 points of slashing damage as the sword kind of comes down and clips you on the side.
That's fine.
Alright, that's the whites. Who's up?
Jillian.
Jillian. Great. So Jillian, this white, has sort of walked up to her, and she throws the crossbow to the ground, and she takes 2 daggers out and goes in for sort of a double stab. I'll roll both of them. 12, 17. So one of them hits. So she goes in for one, and the white kind of deflects it with his weapon, but she goes in for the second attack, and it hits. She deals 5 damage to this one. Great, so she jams it in and pulls it out, and seeing the sort of armored creature in front of her, she seems to sort of recognize the level of threat. She's going to start to run, and it's going to trigger an attack of opportunity here, which at 9 misses. So it goes, swings, and Jillian ducks under it and starts to move away. 5, 10, 20. So the 2 of them are sort of running back down the hallway at the moment. Great, who's next?
The skeletons.
Skeletons, which is
Whoever's
just one,
left.
and he's entangled, so he's going to take an attack at Beezaura with disadvantage. 11 to hit. Doesn't. So, sort of still with the vines, he's sort of trying to catch his footing, and he takes sort of a haphazard swipe that misses. And he's going to attempt to escape the entanglement now, which he does not, so he continues to sort of stay wrapped up in the vines.
Fantastic.
Who's next?
Easy.
Me.
Yeah.
Am I closest to both of the one that's entangled and one that's not? The other thing, the white?
That is not entangled. It was just 2 skeletons, and one
Right.
of them's dead.
Right, but the white he's
not
free
entangled,
range.
yes.
Okay, so I'm gonna go for him first because that's the most, he'll come after me next. So I'm just gonna go for it and just try to slash at
Great.
him.
Takes the flail.
19.
19 hits, roll the damage.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
D8. No.
No,
Yeah, yeah.
No, this is.
That's it?
No, this is like.
That's a
10.
10.
That's 10.
9, that doesn't make sense. Sorry.
9-sided die.
Okay, 3 plus 2 is plus 2 bludgeoning, so it doubles, right?
He's not a skeleton.
Oh, right. So just 5.
5, great. And as you swing it, it sort of connects with the white, and you can see he's got this sort of thick plate armor that it hits off, and it seems like it hurt him a little bit, but it looks like he's resistant to bludgeoning damage. So it was 5. Great, so he takes 2 damage, half, and then round it down.
Would I notice that?
You can
as
see
well?
that as it's happening, yeah.
Oh, shit.
And after I've done that, since I hit him,
Yep.
technically,
Right.
I'm going to give the rally to Graven.
Great. So she sort of swings it and then sort of rallies the troops. And what is it? Go ahead and read that for him.
Yeah, please.
On your turn, you can use a bonus action and expend 1 superiority die to bolster the resolve of one of your companions. When you do so, choose a friendly creature who can see or hear you.
Yep.
That creature gains temporary hit points equal to the superiority die roll plus your charisma modifier.
Great. So you roll your superior die is a D8, so roll a D8.
Same one again, this one.
Those are so many cool things.
5.
Plus your charisma modifier.
5.
It's plus 0.
Yeah.
Great, so 5. So you hear the sort of rallying cry of Beezaura. You're sort of inspired by what
Now, the way that temporary hit points work, my max HP is lower than my current plus 5.
Say that again.
Okay.
Treat your max HP, the lowered max HP from the life drain, treat that as if that's currently your max HP. But you can go above that if that's what you're asking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he has
So-
more than his.
So I have more than my max HP.
So how many did you have to begin with?
Okay. I started with 25.
25, great.
I
And you
went-
got life drained.
I got life drained, so that my max HP is 21.
Great.
But I'm currently at 18.
Great, so you're at 18 to 21, and you just got rallied for 5.
5,
So
yeah.
now you're at, 23 out of 21.
Temporary can go
and go
above.
above your maximum.
Got it.
See, kids,
Thank you.
Dungeons and Dragons is education.
Yeah, Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes.
You feel the sort of inspiring radiance.
Still haven't learned.
Great.
Cool.
Zombies?
Zombies. So one. No, zombies
No,
are
no
toast.
zombies. Yeah.
Get 'em
Okay,
out of
so
here.
Blom.
Blom. So
yeah,
Blom
what's he
sort of, as Jillian's behind him, he sort of reaches into his back pocket and he takes something out. And you guys can't really
Yeah, we
see
don't
this
see
happening,
this.
but you can hear he yells something. He says, "Get my brother out of that prison cell and get the fuck out of here!" And he jams the key into Jillian's hand and he runs into the center of the living room where there's a carpet on the floor. And he grabs it and he reveals sort of a brick-lined stone
What a sneak.
with soil in the middle of this living room. And he puts his feet in and he sort of sinks down into this circle of soil and he starts to lift his arms and flex. And as you do that, you can feel the house rattling and shaking. And he's picking the house up out of the ground, these two arms of the house.
He's like in the house.
And he's lifting up, and you guys at the top can feel the house sort of shaking and moving. And you can hear Blom sort of, "Get the fuck out of here!" And he's sort of lifting the house. And he's taking an action to sort of imbue himself into the house.
Move his home.
And,
don't care.
great, that's Blom's turn.
Blom don't give a shit.
Is the house off the ground right now?
No, so right now, it hasn't happened yet because he had
Okay.
took an action to do this.
Yeah.
But he, in the center, is attempting to pick up the two arms of the house as if they were his arms.
Wow.
So as he's lifting his arms in the soil, it's lifting up this portion
Yeah.
and this portion of the house.
What?
So he's
Cool.
like,
Oh my
he's
God.
like kind of like quicksand in his house.
Yes, so he's like up to his chest in the soil, and he's sort of picking up the arms as if the arms of the house were his
So
arms.
it's kind of like Power
I was
Rangers.
gonna say,
here?
honey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, just trying to paint a picture.
You're gonna run off into
See,
the horizon.
all
of his
halflings
house.
are very powerful.
Okay.
Who's up?
Graven.
Kind of.
Yeah, the house is
seeing
sort of
this
rattling.
behind
Yep.
me, like
This is so
you
bizarre.
yell up to them, like, "Get down!" Like, "Get down here!"
You can see Graven kind of waving up at the window.
And whites are undead,
Yep.
right?
Yeah, all these creatures are undead so far that you would know.
I'm gonna.
What you doing, Graven?
I'm gonna take a deep breath
and
and I'm gonna
Roll for that.
like pushing away from myself. I'm gonna channel the divine
sure.
light and energy to attempt to turn all of the undead
Great.
within 30 feet of me.
Turn them.
Go ahead and read it.
As an action, you present your holy symbol and speak a prayer censuring the undead. Each undead that you can see or hear within 30 feet of you, that can see or hear you
Yep.
within 30 feet of you, must make a wisdom saving throw. If a creature fails its saving throw, it is turned for 1 minute or until it takes any damage.
And turned means they have to run away from you? Is that what it is?
A turned creature must spend its turns trying to move as far away from you as it can.
Oh,
It's
sweet.
frightening them,
You
basically.
petrify
It's
them.
terrifying.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And can't willingly move to a space within 30 feet of me. It also can't take reactions. For its action, it can only use the dash action to try to escape from an effect that prevents it from moving.
Great. Great, so we'll go down the line. So we'll start with this white skeleton, white. So we'll start with one. 14.
Oh, wow.
It's a saving throw, right?
Right.
Yeah, 14.
Yeah, that
Passes. So
Passes.
skeleton 7
fails.
fails. This white.
Come on.
15
Passes.
and the one up on the balcony 11
Fails.
fails. Great. So the skeleton and the white over here fail there. So they see this sort of blinding radiant light coming out, and their bones start to rattle and they start to turn away from it, and they look like they're getting ready to flee.
That's my action. So, sorry, which ones? The one's right in front of me.
The skeleton and the one up on the balcony are the two that are turned.
Right, so the one right in front of me doesn't
not,
give
yeah.
a shit. Alright, great.
Of course.
I don't think I have any bonuses. Nope, I'm just gonna stare down that one in front of me.
Okay, who's up?
Okay. Orba sees Graven waving, so she's gonna take that as jump off this balcony and come down to the floor. So Orba's gonna swing her leg over the balcony and just without even thinking, just let go. And I guess can you climb or should I jump? Like what's the deal?
What would you like to do?
Are there cobblestones like?
Yeah,
grips?
I'll say both of them are going to take an acrobatics check.
Okay.
I will say it's easier to climb down, but it will take some of your movement, whereas jumping will not.
Right. I'm gonna safely climb. I'm gonna be a little responsible.
Sort of comes away. Make an acrobatics check.
8.
8. You sort of start to climb and slip off the side, and you get knocked prone here.
Okay.
So you have to spend half your movement to get up.
And I haven't used any movement yet to
You
climb
use
down.
5 feet of movement to be climbing down.
And half of my movement
Half
would
of your
be
maximum
15.
movement, yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna
So you
I'm
would
gonna
have,
get up.
Yep. So you would have 10 feet left after getting up.
But I didn't take any damage.
No.
Okay, swell. Orba's gonna just seeing Erland cast all those earth spells, she's gonna get out her crystal and like swing her arm down and up through her crystal hand and cast Maximilian's Earth Grasp.
Great.
In front of, let's go with the white nearest me. So to
This
the-
one?
Yes.
Okay. So it appears in, like next to him. Is that the idea?
It appears, yeah, right next to
Yeah.
him.
So we'll say that purple marker is like sort of out of the ground. Hand comes up.
Okay, so the hand is then going to. Oh no, sorry. The target must make a strength saving throw.
Okay. 12.
I think that fails. He fails.
Okay.
So he is restrained,
Okay.
and then he also takes 2d6
Great. Go ahead and
of
roll for damage.
bludgeoning damage. Well, he's restrained.
Something.
2d6. All right.
I think he's the one that's just trying to get the hell out of here.
That's not the one that was turned. She's attacking this one.
That's what I mean. That one is turned.
No,
isn't
the
it?
skeleton and the one on the
Skeleton's
balcony are
turned,
turned.
Oh, shit.
3 and 2 is 5, so halved and then
2.
rounded down is 2.
Great.
But he is restrained.
Great. So the grass kind of comes up
She's
and
taking
grabs him.
damage now.
And then Orba's quickly look up at Safira and then take the rest of her movement 2 steps back away from it.
Sure.
Is that within
you don't
30
have anywhere
feet
to
still?
go.
Oh, I
What do you
can't
mean?
I can't see past the skeletons here or whatever. I can't
Are you moving the?
No. I myself am
Oh.
trying to move
Away
further back from the
the
monsters.
Oh, like this way?
Yeah.
Okay, sure.
And
I thought you meant back. Your back was facing the wall that you just climbed down.
I
That's why,
couldn't see from here that was the case.
Okay, why don't you disappear into the
And I'm done.
Great. So is that the end of the round?
It is.
Great.
Why?
So, Orba, make a perception check.
Oh, no!
my
Don't do that.
God. Who is attacking us?
18.
18. So you hear, as the
what?
battle's sort of happening, the grass is sort of whoosh, whoosh, and the grasses are like turning into sort of dust. And coming through the field, an undead warrior with a large two-handed broadsword is coming through. And he lifts his face up, and barnacles up near his eye socket and down the side of his face. And he looks at you. And he starts to lumber towards you. And enter him in 12 on that list.
Does she know who this is?
And what do I call this again?
Undead
Barnacle
warrior. Sure, barnacle boy.
boy. I hate the word barnacle.
Okay.
So the creature appears. We'll start the new round, but we're going to take a break.
Oh my God.
Where are all these things coming from? They're all different.
Yep, they're all. We'll pick it right back up in the middle of battle. We're gonna
He's
take
from,
quick
like,
dinner break.
Oh,
These are like the
guys,
sea.
This is my fault.
Except
This is my fault.
We're gonna take a 15 for dinner. Thank you for joining us. and
Oh,
we'll
God.
dive right back in when we get back.
Okay, bye.
Thanks a lot, Orba, for whatever you did.
All right.
Hello.
We're back. Right into the thick of it.
We're still fighting all these things.
An undead warrior has appeared on the edge of the property, gives Orba a look, and we return to the top of the initiative order. Who we got?
Erland.
Diving back in. Let's go, Erland. What you got?
All right.
Oh my god.
So Erland, I'm not engaged in combat with that guy, right?
You are within melee range of him.
I am within melee range of him.
Yeah, that's diagonal is still within melee range.
Okay, so if I were to move, he would very attack me.
Yes, he would very much do that.
Great.
That's not the that's not the turn
he's
one
not
yet.
turned.
Okay, so I'm going to, and he's wearing armor as well.
Yes, that's a white. Yeah, he has sort of jagged, rusty armor. That he
Okay, so are there any exposed bits on the armor? Is it like plate mail? Is it chain mail? Like what
it's like studded leather mostly, so it's like leather with some like sort of plated parts of it.
Okay, so I'm gonna sort of it's like time almost like slows down a little bit, like Blom's yelling behind him, like leave. He sort of sees the undead warrior, especially like focused on Orba.
Mm-hmm.
There's this thing right in front of him, so Erland's going to. So I'm gonna screw this up. How far away from that is 40 feet? Just out of curiosity, I don't want to do that. But
Away from this guy?
yeah. If
If
I
he's being pushed
run back into the house, how far is 40 feet? Does that take me to
5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35.
to like, and that's the back door?
Yeah.
Where are you going,
Right, that's the back exit.
Okay, so seeing all this happen, Erland's gonna pull out that dagger he found last episode, and is gonna go for a stab into like a soft spot of the zombie in front of me.
Make an attack roll.
Get this out of my way. 8 to hit.
8 misses.
Great.
So he goes in for it and he sort of bats the dagger away. Sort of small, puny weapon.
So as a bonus action, I'm going to expend a key point, and I'm going to use Step of the Wind.
Great.
And I also healed 2 more this round.
Yes. Yeah.
So I'm going to use Step of a Wind to break away from that zombie.
Does that give you a disengage? Is that what it is?
That gives me a sorry, I'll read it. It's you can spend 1 key point to take a disengage or dash action as a bonus action on your turn, and your jump distance is doubled for the turn.
Sure. You leap through the window.
But actually, so I'm missing the stab. Erland's gonna pop in, pop out, and say very loudly, so everyone, including up top, can hear me.
Sure.
Is saying, "The carriage is at the back door. Follow me." And he's gonna hop back through the window and bolt to the back door.
So he sort of channels the key energy, and the white isn't even able to sort of get up an arm to make a swing at him, and he.
And as he walks past Blom, he can't. It's too active. He can't give him like a solemn nod, but he holds eye contact with him. As he's
Blom's
running
not
in.
even paying attention. He's sort of focusing
Great.
hard and sort of focusing on
So I'm
himself.
using all 40 feet of movement to get to that back
Over
door.
the back. And you can see, so you can even from there sort of open the back door, and you can
great.
see the horse and carriage are there. They're sort of set up
Okay,
in the
but
back.
how far away from them are? How far away from the horse?
15 feet.
Okay,
Back door.
great. That's my turn.
It's me.
Safira.
Can I take a shot before I jump out the window?
Yeah,
or
you
is
can.
that-
No, you can move. You can also move, shoot, and then move again. You can break up your movement.
So because I have a better vantage point from the window, I'm gonna shoot at our barnacle boy
Okay.
friend. 12 to hit.
12 hits. Well,
Really?
Yep.
All right.
Not so tough as it looks.
Okay.
Doesn't seem like he's so heavily armored, but he's big and he's sort of
Big.
hulking towards you.
He takes 4 damage.
For what kind of damage is that?
Piercing.
Piercing. Okay, great.
And then
And it sticks into him, but he kind of like knocks it off the side. And
so can I then leap out the window?
sure, make an acrobatics check.
And I'm trying to hang on. 21.
21. Great. So you
I'm
no
trying
problem
to
land on the
leap
ground.
and get myself between Orba and that guy.
Like there.
Like I'm trying to land in front of her.
Sure, you'd land and move. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
You're saying I can't leap that
You
far
cannot
into the air?
leap 40 feet. Yeah, in that direction.
Yeah.
Not your thing.
Oh, this?
Yeah.
Yeah, here. Oh, you want to see
Yeah, I
it?
just want to be able to.
Oh, he's right.
Sure.
Right
You
after
sort of
me.
stationed yourself between.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna stay there.
Great. Who's up there?
Whites.
The whites.
Whites. Great. So the white. So we'll do this one first. So this one, sort of seeing the radiance of Graven's turn undead, he sort of feels it. And he jumps off the balcony and sort of into the pool of water. 30, I think it's. 30.
He's retreating.
Yeah, 30. Right. Yeah. So he runs. Yeah. So he has to retreat from the turn undead. So the other two are not. So this one's going to make 2 attacks against Graven.
And I have my reactions back, so I could use Warding Flare again.
You can use a reaction. Yep.
Okay.
I think you can also use that after you know whether it hits or not.
When you are attacked, use your reaction to impose disadvantage on the attack.
Okay. Okay. Or sort of.
So I will do. Yeah, I'll use
Okay.
one of those. Yeah.
Right. So the first attack, sort of a flash of light, fires out. 13 to hit. Misses. Great.
Nice.
Sort of cling off the shield, and the second attack. 12 to hit.
Misses.
12 misses. So, and he goes for the other one, and Graven sort of jams the shield and blocks the second one. And this white is going to take 2 swipes at Beezaura.
Wait, that one's also turned. Oh,
No.
white.
Skeleton.
No, he is restrained though.
Yes. So he gets disadvantage on his attack.
Okay.
Yep.
By Maximilian.
Maximilian himself.
14 to hit.
Oh.
Great. So takes 1 swing, and it sort of clangs off of her shield. And I'll do another one with disadvantage. 9 to hit. Great. So you can hear these sort of like shields sparking a little bit as the weapons collide. Great. So that's the 2 of them. That's it. That's the
Okay, Jillian.
Jillian. Great. So Jillian's sort of rushing down the stairs.
Are we gonna say that she heard Erland?
Yeah.
I said bear. I was.
Yeah, the house is, it's also not a big house. So she's sort of running in through the living room, and she's sort of yelling out towards the front area, like, get to the back, everyone to the back! And she's sort of dashing by, and she's gonna make her way back as well. So this is great, who's up?
Skeletons, there are none left. Or wait,
There is a
there's one
skeleton.
left, my bad.
Yep.
Skeletons.
He is still restrained by, so he lost concentration, Blom, when he went to sort of do this next spell. So the skeleton is no longer restrained.
Oh,
so
he's
he's
turned
now.
That's the
turned.
turned one, though.
Yes, yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Okay.
So
Sorry.
if he was restrained, he would just be going.
Got it.
He's gonna run.
I can't wait.
Can you imagine?
Right.
Wish I could.
Yeah. So the skeleton sort of runs the opposite direction.
Me.
Who's up?
BZ.
All right.
I'm going to the back.
All right.
Yeah.
So this guy's gonna get a swipe as you walk away.
Oh.
Is that guy restrained? Yeah.
Yes.
So he has disadvantage. Oh wait, I forgot to roll. At the end of his turn, he gets to roll.
As an action.
He can attempt to break free as an
Yeah.
action. Okay, great. Yeah. So he didn't do that. So he takes one with disadvantage. 7 to hit.
Nope.
Great. So it sort of hits the door frame and sticks in there. Great. So you're heading to the back.
Heading to the back.
So you guys have all sort of gone out the back and are starting to sort of deal with the carriage. Who's up?
Barnacle Boy.
Barnacle Boy. Barnacle Boy. So he sort of lumbering forward, and as he's sort of coming forward, you can see he's standing almost like 8-9 feet tall. Sort of this mass of sort of writhing bones, and he's almost like using one of the sword as kind of like a crutch. He like sticks it into the wet earth and kind of propels himself forward, sticks it out, and sticks it into the next spot. He's moving slowly.
Oh no.
And he gets up to Safira and he pulls it out of the ground and takes a swipe. 17 to hit.
17 hits.
17 hits. So he swings the sword around and just as Safira has sort of interposed herself between Orba and the skeleton, it hits. Oh wait, wrong. You take 11 slashing damage.
Oh, I don't think I actually healed from the long rest.
Yeah,
So should
that
I-
should have been your first hit. I don't think you
Yeah,
hit.
you should-
Yeah, so I should have been at max.
Maximum,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. And I just took 7 damage?
11.
11? Okay.
Wow.
Nice try though.
No, I'm sorry.
What did I take? 3 damage?
I took, I took 2 damage.
I gained one, right?
Yeah.
Healing damage.
Okay.
Great. And after the swing, he sort of holds the sword up and he does like almost like a raspy sort of like yell, and it's sort of all of the undead creatures, their eyes kind of in their bodies, they perk up a little bit. Seems he sort of inspired them, sort of given them renewed vigor. So he did that as a bonus action.
Matt. Okay, well,
it's
let's
Blom.
right now.
Blom. Great. So Blom, he sinks his hands into the soil, and you can feel the rattling of the house, and the arm of the house disconnects, and it sort of pulls up out of the ground, and it. No, I'm supposed to stay. And it swings, and as he swings, I need dexterity saving throws for the two of you.
Oh, damn it.
God.
And two.
Oh, God.
12.
12? 5? Great. So you pass. You failed.
Yeah.
You take 4, you take 2. Bludgeoning damage. It's slow moving, so it kind of swipes across, and the two of you see the walls coming, and it kind of butts up against it. They both fail, and they get pushed back. They sort of, the arm kind of swings across, and he pulls you in towards the house. And these two are going to make dexterity saving throws as well. Concentration for the hand.
Ooh, good question.
took
Let me
damage.
check. Let me check. Concentration.
So you have to roll a Constitution save. Is that what it is? I think.
Oh, I thought I just lose it. No?
No. You roll for it.
Oh, my apologies. I do not know the answer to that.
No, that's okay. Yeah, I think you make a Constitution save. So we'll get to that in a second.
Okay, yeah.
So the thing swings through, and these two, this one fails. So this one gets pinned up against the side of the house, and it kind of breaks through the window, and it's kind of hanging partially through the window. This one gets pushed through the door. Graven, make a dexterity saving throw.
Jesus, guys.
Pushes all of you in.
I always forget. Okay. Dexterity? 15.
15, great. So you take the half damage as well, which was 2. Right?
2, okay.
So the whole yard kind of dirt sort of
Pushes everyone into the house.
and it's pushing everyone through. Concentration 10, a DC of 10.
I lose it.
Okay, great. So the hand sort of disappears as she gets knocked to the side. And so everyone's been kind of shoved into the house.
Oh, thank God.
But the whites are still
But they're still
I mean,
there.
we're away from the big guy.
Let me just put you in actual boxes there. There we go. Great. And that's going to be his turn. So he sort of swiped, and these ones got sort of pushed out of the way.
Graven.
Graven, you're up.
I want to. I can't. Who's up after me?
Me.
You? Okay. All right. Let's go. And I'm just gonna run.
Okay. He's going to get a swipe at you.
Yep.
Don't line swipe.
13 to hit.
Misses.
This is great. So he sort of takes a swipe as Graven's running. 1, 2. Or yeah, I mean you can make it out the back, so you're out the back. Great. Who's up?
Orba.
How do those two guys look? On my sides here.
Like health-wise?
Yeah. Like, do they look messed up?
This one was the one that took the most hits.
Yeah,
The other
okay.
two have taken a couple dings, but they don't look like they're on their last sort of legs there.
Well, Orba's really not looking how Barnacle Boy's looking at her. So, really quickly, she's gonna point her palm toward him and cast Chill Touch. Just aim right for his...
Do you need sight to do that? You do not
like a
have
piece
sight,
of
right?
house in
There's a
between us.
wall of house in front of you.
Oh, it's literally like in front of my
Yeah, he
side.
like swung the whole side of the house in. If you need line of sight, you can't use that.
It doesn't say, but I would imagine that I do.
It doesn't say a creature you can see.
No,
Which
it just
one
says
is this? Chill
make-
touch?
Chill Touch. It just says make a ranged spell attack against the creature to assail it.
Yeah, I'll say yeah if it doesn't specify that. Yeah.
Really?
Wow. Yeah.
She's just gonna picture where he was
Wow.
and just make a hand form right
I
in
think
front
if
of him.
it's a creature you can't see, you get disadvantage.
Okay.
Weird.
I'm pretty sure that's correct because you're guessing basically.
Yeah.
Yes, you have disadvantage on the roll.
On the attack roll?
Yep,
Okay.
if that's okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Wow. 9.
9 does not hit.
Um,
So she sort of tries to guess where he is, and you can't hear any sort of anything on the other side.
She's just gonna shout, "I'll be back for you!" And she runs towards
This
everybody.
one still gets an attack of opportunity.
Yes.
Is he not pinned between like the house and the house?
He went crashing through the window.
Yeah, great.
Yeah,
He's
he's
gonna take 12 to hit.
12 hits.
12 hits.
Yeah. I'm gonna cast shield. Can I cast shield on a... Oh, wait. Ooh. Wait.
Oh my god.
Hold on.
Something's
Hold
happening.
on. Okay, no. I'm gonna let that hit me.
Okay. You take 6 points of slashing damage.
Okay. And
Sort
then...
of clips you as you're walking by.
Yeah.
Let me do math. And as she like gets knocked to her side, as she does that, she points her finger and casts Hellish Rebuke.
Great.
What's that?
The creature must make a dexterity saving throw.
Okay. 10.
That's the same as my spell
spell
DC.
save, so-
13, so he fails.
Great.
So he takes 2d10 fire damage.
So getting the damage, she sort of turns and this sort of torrent of fire kind of in a big flash.
Uh-huh.
16.
16.
And in the fire, her eyes just light up.
Great, and there's sort of a like almost an explosion of fire, and some of the house is sort of catching on fire now. Some of the wooden pieces. Blom.
And so she'll like complete her full spin and then use the rest of her movement to exit.
Does it not kill the white?
Nope. That was not the one that. This is the one that was hurt the most.
Still a lot of damage.
This one is still hurt more than that one.
Okay, so now it's Erland.
So now that there's a bunch of people
Yeah,
up
so
there,
you like Jillian has sort of come out behind. and a
yeah.
couple
So
people-
I'm hopping. The horse isn't tied up, I assume, given what I saw.
no,
last
no.
evening.
Safira's pretty high.
In fact,
Great.
Jillian sort of yells like,
You can get out.
Beezaura, help me with the horses. Erland, stay on the back in case they come through. And she's sort of pointing to Safira. Oh no, Safira's still out there, so she's sort of pushing everyone into the carriage. You don't have to obey her, but she suggested that you stay, in case you needed, because she saw Beezaura driving the last time. But-
I'm gonna look at her and say, everyone in. I'll stay here, and I'm gonna sort of be like right by the front of the horses.
Sure.
By
the front of the horses.
telling them they should go into the carriage, and I'm gonna be at the front, sort of waiting at the front door to see who comes through next.
Great. Beezaura, do you hop up on the front?
I
Yes,
hop on the
great.
front. Yes, Jillian.
Great. She hops up, sort of on the driver's seat. Great. Who's next?
The white. Well, Safira. Sorry.
Yeah. it's me.
Safira, yes.
So I'm gonna take one last shot at Barnacle Boy. Can I even do that? Can I go to like where the window is? How much movement does that take?
This here, 10 feet of movement here.
Sure. Okay.
We'll say
so
yeah.
I'm gonna go to where the window is and I'm gonna fire a vitality siphoning arrow.
Okay.
So that if a creature takes damage from one of these arrows, the attacker may use their reaction to take 1d4 damage and then add 1d4 plus 1 damage to the roll.
Great. So yeah, you imbue the arrow with some of your essence, and
Yep.
it does additional damage. Yeah.
So I'm gonna take that, fire that, and hopefully that. Oh my god, natural one. Why?
Sort of takes it, and as the house is kind of rattling
I'm
and
just
shaking,
wasting all my money.
she sort of shoots, and the arrow sort of flies into one of the nearby
So
pools.
she's kind of spitting and cursing, and she's just gonna take off in the direction of the back door.
Alright, okay. You could do it so only one of them gets an attack of opportunity.
Okay.
So we'll say this one got an attack
And
of
I take damage though from firing it, or do I not? 'Cause
No,
it's-
only if it hits,
only if it
yeah.
hits, okay.
13 to
13
hit.
misses.
13 misses, great. So as you're running by, it sort of and it sort of some pieces of the wooden floor kind of go up as it sort of comes down.
Okay.
Okay?
The white.
And you can hear Jillian kind of yelling, and she's saying like, "Get Safira on the back. Be ready to fire." She's sort of like getting you. She wants you to be stationed on the back.
Yeah.
Sort of
Did she get all the way out? Did she get?
she's close.
No,
She's like,
no,
they can
no.
see her in the doorway, basically.
Oh, like on the back of the carriage?
Kind of, yeah. We're facing out.
Can I properly point out that Orba is like waiting on the edge of the, like she's not on the carriage.
Sure.
Okay,
Yeah.
I just wanted to.
Sure.
Who's waiting
Alright.
with Erland?
Who's up?
White.
The whites. Okay, so these whites sort of seeing that Blom seems to be sort of, at least for the moment, incapacitated or sort of moving the house, they're going to run by him. And they're both going to make an attack on Safira there.
Both of them?
Ooh, 5 to hit and 7 to hit. It made a multi-attack
they're both
there.
nice.
And then the second one, 9 to hit and 18 to hit.
18
so
hits.
that one hits.
Yikes. You're taking it.
Yeah. Not feeling great.
It's
Okay.
You take 5 slashing damage
Okay.
as it sort of hits the side and catches a piece. And how long do they run away for, the turned ones?
Forever. 1 minute.
Oh, yeah, so
Oh, so there's
a round of combat, 6 seconds. So they're still going.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
So he's like,
He's out.
Who's up for the whites?
the Jillian.
And Jillian, great. So she's like getting the carriage ready, and she sort of hops up on the driver's seat next to you, and the two of you start to make an animal handling check
Yeah.
along with Jillian.
I was up front with the horses. I was like, I wasn't on, but I
Sure,
was
make
like
it with
near them.
advantage as Erland's kind of helping you.
Roll again.
Oh.
Yeah, and take that. Yeah, Erland's kind of helping you wrangle the horses there at the front.
Animal handling 14.
Great. So you get the sort of you hook them up to the wagon tongue and sort of getting the reins ready. You hand it up to Beezaura, who's kind of got them in hand. She's ready to go.
And Jillian's jumped up as well.
Yeah. So the two of them are on the driver's seat.
Great.
Yeah. Who's up?
Skeleton.
He goes. Ah! And he runs away.
Easy.
Alright, I'm just getting everything set.
Yeah,
and
so they're
just-
set and ready to go.
Yeah.
Basically waiting on Safira. Everybody's sort of.
Yeah. Barnacle boy.
He's so you can't see this, but he's sort of lumbering towards the house. He's very slow.
Okay, Blom.
Blom. So he takes another sort of and he lifts up the other wing of the house,
So nuts.
and you can see this behind you as the house kind of. And this guy's gonna make a dexterity saving throw, which he natural ones. So he sort of gets pushed back by the sort of
Yes.
force of the house. Who's up?
Graven.
Graven.
You said you're not in the carriage yet?
Nope.
Can I grab her
Sure.
and like
No.
put her into the carriage?
Are you actually resisting it?
Yeah.
Make an athletics.
Why?
And make an athletics yourself.
Wow.
Is this really the moment to fight each other?
10.
10.
Make another one. They both.
This is like war. Write the card.
3.
6.
Great. So he grabs her, and she sort of
guys are
struggles
so
and pushes
tough.
him away for a moment, and then he grabs her again and yanks her.
She's like slapping his chest.
Bodily into the carriage.
Great. Stuffs her into the carriage, and you get in there also.
Yeah.
Great. All right.
Making room for Safira to be able to just jump right in.
Can I just call out, like,
Sure.
just go? I'm just calling out go as
Sure.
loud as I can. And, like,
And they're getting like the horses are sort of
Yeah.
slowly starting to get going.
Okay. Orba's gonna, from the carriage, I'm assuming
Are
if
you
I...
before Safira?
Yeah, I'm the bottom.
yeah.
The last
I'm
one.
the last in the lineup.
After Graven.
Graven just went.
Got it. Okay, yeah.
Do I have line of sight?
You do not. Of what? I mean,
Of
of
the
the creatures?
two
No.
whites.
No.
I don't.
No.
I'm gonna try to cast Chill Touch
Sure.
at, let's say, the one closest.
Great. Sort of envisioning the spot where they
Yeah.
might be. Sure.
No. 7.
7 misses. So you hear the sort of whoosh appearance of the spell, and maybe you hear Safira be like, "What the fuck?"
Over
A spectral
now.
hand appears in the middle of the hallway.
You know if it's me.
Get over here. And then I'm done. Erland.
Are they both? They're both within combat range of her, right? Like if she were to run away, they're gonna get 4 attacks on her. Yeah.
No, they would only get one.
Oh, they can't
attack
use both
each.
their swords.
Yeah, they wouldn't get a multi-attack on that. They only have one sword. They just have they've just been swinging multiple times. They have a multi-attack.
Okay, and how far away from her? How far away from them? Why can't I never say this? How far away am I?
So you're at the carriage, which is 15 feet. So
Wait.
you're probably 25 feet from her. 20 feet. 25.
20. That's actually really important.
You're at the front where the horses are?
Yes.
25 feet.
Well, in that
continuing
case,
to shout.
25.
The carriage is like 15 feet from the last tile, but he's at the front. Yeah.
Okay. Oh boy. 25 feet away. Okay. Oh man. Okay, I'm going to. And what? She's shouting, "Go!"
Yeah.
Okay, great. I'm gonna get by the door of the carriage and like wait for her.
Great, and the carriage is like slowly starting to pick up and like.
Yeah, I'm on the edge, the side of it, on his shoulder.
And I'm just continuing. Go! Like I'm just.
You're up now.
Yeah, I'm gonna make a sprint for
right.
the carriage.
Run!
9 to hit and 14 to hit.
14 hits.
14 hits. So one of them, as you're running by, take
no.
4 slashing damage.
Okay. Whoa. Still standing.
And she runs out the back, and you see the carriage sort of starting to pull away, and you see Erland both of you make an athletics check. Take the higher one since you're sort of
Nat 20.
Yes.
Great. So she runs out 20. And Safira goes running up to the carriage, and she like grabs onto Erland, who pulls her up and into the carriage, and the carriage is
Everybody in!
moving up and out. Great. So we've exited this combat.
This combat? What do you mean by that?
So the carriage is starting to pull up and away, and the two whites are sort of running up, sort of trying to keep up with the carriage, and the carriage is moving faster. Who has ranged weapons?
Yeah, I do.
So you two, you can go ahead and make an attack on them.
I mean, I have a...
If you want to use it, yeah.
20!
Yes.
Nat 20?
Yeah.
She's like literally almost dead.
27, but
No, nat 20.
doesn't matter.
I have
We should just go back and fight the
60-foot
big guy.
range.
Great, so you just hopped on, so we'll start with you. So Erland pulls you up onto the carriage, and you pull out an arrow and
I
sort
can
of fire.
fire the arrows that aren't expensive. It turns out. And
go
I
ahead.
get nervous.
Yeah.
Go ahead and roll for damage. And
Okay. 11.
is that with the plus
Yes.
on it? Before you add the plus, double
Wait.
it, because it was a critical hit. So what did you roll?
I rolled a 1, and
And?
then I rolled a 7.
Okay, so 8,
8,
16 plus
Plus 3.
3, so
Okay, so 19.
19 damage.
Wow.
It's gotta be dead.
So they
You
are.
said that before.
It fires and it sticks into the white, and it kind of goes flying, and then for a second, and then it starts resuming
What the
its
heck
chase.
are these things?
We'll give attacks to the other two people before the whites get to do anything.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone with a ranged attack?
Yeah, I rolled a
before-
15. Oh,
Using what?
yeah, sorry. She's gonna cast Ray of Frost at the one that she just bonked.
Great.
So it's 20 to hit.
20 hits.
Okay, so I roll a
Guys getting
D8.
20s over there.
6 damage,
6 damage.
and their movement is slowed. Not that that totally matters, but
That definitely matters. They're
Okay.
chasing you.
their speed is reduced by 10 feet.
Great. So the sort of chill hits, and it sort of slows in its pursuit, and the other one is now sort of catching up to it along the side. Great. Are you making a ranged attack?
Yeah, it's thrown Sacred Flame at that same one.
Great.
It must make a dexterity saving throw or take some damage.
12.
That's what my number is.
Then it passes. Yeah, it passes.
Okay.
Does it take anything for a pass? Nope. Great. So the Sacred Flame kind of goes wide.
How far away is that one that's closest to us?
It's probably like 20, 25 feet behind the carriage. Or sort of running.
Again, matters.
20 feet behind the carriage.
Great. Erland's gonna pull out that dagger he has and he's gonna throw it.
Sure.
Your dagger.
Where's my D20? Where's D20? There it is. 13 to hit.
13 misses. So the dagger, and you can see it kind of stick into the ground. Make an animal handling check. So the whites are trying to sort of catch up to the carriage, and you're trying to get the horses to sort of move quicker.
20!
Great. Great. So you and Jillian, the two of you, kind of get the horses, and you get the wagon up onto these sort of. There's some boards that are kind of keeping it off of the wet, sort of marshy ground, and the wheels kind of pick up on the ground, and you guys are able to sort of pick up, and the whites are not able to catch up, sort of with the speed of the carriage. Great. Another round of
Good boys.
of ranged
stuff.
attacks. Yeah.
Oh, okay. You went first, so would you like to go?
Yeah, I'm gonna fire now one of my expensive vitality siphoning arrows.
Oh,
Actually,
Let's
I'm gonna
The one that
20!
That's another nat 20.
the one that you hit before, same one.
yeah.
Okay.
It's the same one.
Come on.
So now how do I roll for the damage for this? So I take. Oh, I'm such an idiot. I'm gonna knock myself unconscious.
Who's strong?
I'm gonna do. Okay, so what? This was dumb. I'm sorry. I'm on the back of the carriage. I'll be fine. So how do I do it? I
On
take
the back,
one
like
D4.
hanging off the back?
So
probably gonna die.
roll all the before you add any pluses. Roll all the dice. So it's a D8, right, on your bow,
It's a D8 on my bow.
plus another
Yes.
D8 for the whatever your skills
do
called,
this first.
Colossus Slayer or whatever. Yeah, before you add anything.
Yeah. Okay. So
What's the total there?
8.
8. So and then there's a D4 for the arrow. Yes.
Yes.
So roll that.
Where's the D4?
Pyramid.
This is the weird one though.
Yeah.
2.
2. So 10, and you also take 2 damage.
2 damage. Yeah. 3.
No, you don't roll a second one.
I don't. Oh, I take 2 damage.
You only
as well.
take 2.
Thank God.
You
Okay.
take 2, but you added that 2 to your damage, which was 10.
10,
So you're
yes.
doubling that for the critical. So 20,
20 plus 3.
plus the
23.
23 damage.
Whoa.
There you go.
And you're still conscious?
I'm still here.
So she
That
fires
was
off the arrow and it kind of feels like some of the
extremely
life
dumb.
is leaving her, and you see her kind of like wobble a little bit. But the
Yeah, I'm
arrow
really
sort of
good at myself.
hits the white in the side of the face and it
sorry.
falls down, sort of
You and I
splashing
are having
into
a
the
talk
water.
after this combat.
So one of the
Not
whites,
both.
You guys, she killed it.
yep, one of the whites is down. You got one more, and this one's kind of slowed from the. Oh no, that was the slow one. That one got toasted back. Great, you got one white left, chasing him.
I
were
liked
next,
the
yeah.
the slowing, so I'm gonna go ahead and cast Ray of Frost
Do it
again.
again.
16.
16 hits. Right?
Okay, that's a D8. 5.
5 damage, great. Sort of, and you can see the clicking of the bones as it kind of feels the frost. And you can see it kind of slowing down. Make another animal handling
Yeah.
with advantage because you got slowed down by the ice.
Roll it again.
Roll
Roll it
again.
again.
Yeah.
I look at it, I'm like, 9.
9. Okay, so one of the wheels kind of hits the side of where one of the boards is, and it kind of splashes and sort of gets in this pool of water, and the horses kind of strain
Come
and they
on!
pull the carriage up, but the white is able to get up. And who's in the back there on the back side? The ranged people.
Yeah, the ranged people.
I did
I
a
was-
ranged attack, but I didn't this round because I don't have any.
Who's hanging off the back, basically?
I
That was
obviously
me.
am.
I put her inside. So
It's like the
Okay,
driver.
we'll say it takes a multi attack on Graven there as it catches up to the
We'll spare Safira.
13 and 17. Do any
to hit, 17 hits.
17 hits. You take 6 slashing damage as it's sort of catching up because of the slowed down carriage kind of rattling across
Sorry.
the boards. It sort of catches the edge of Graven.
Yeah.
And you can make a ranged attack now. You can
Yeah.
actually make a melee attack now. He's all the way up to you for a second here,
Oh.
if you want to.
Yeah. I will. Imbue my mace with the dark necromancy again and swing at its head with inflict wounds.
Sure.
Melee attack against a creature within reach. With the mace, 14.
14 hits.
Whoa. Here we go.
Okay. On a hit. Oh, is it okay to add the 4? Make a melee spell attack as long as the mace is a melee, like.
It's your spell attack modifier. It's a spell attack, yeah.
Spell attack bonus plus 4. Okay, so yeah, it was still 14.
That is, yeah.
Okay. Hit target takes 3d10.
Whoa!
Yeah.
Oh, right, this one.
Is the one that I.
What kind of damage?
Necrotic.
Okay.
Oh.
This is the 10. Yeah, sure.
Come on. No, come on! Oh my god, are you kidding me?
God, it's gonna be like 3 damage.
Oh no!
5.
Oh.
Okay.
3
So you see this
That's even
blast
worse
of
than
kind
the
of
first
necrotic energy, and it sort of rattles, and it gets pushed back a little bit, and now it's still sort of running to catch up, but it doesn't go down. All right, ranged people, you get one more here before he tries to catch up.
It's not near us anymore.
No, it's not within melee range of you, but it's running along. It's close.
yeah.
After they attack, and if she fails a animal handling, it'll catch up again. Yeah.
I'm gonna shoot another
All right.
arrow at it.
Stupid 10.
22 to hit.
22 hits. Roll for damage.
Go, baby, go.
7.
7 damage. All right, Safira, show us how it's done.
Oh my
She's
god.
like on her last
hanging off the back of the carriage, and I just aim right for its eye and just try to shoot it right through, and then probably immediately collapse back onto the carriage. I am so close to being dead. It's unbelievable.
Boy. So the arrow fires, and the white takes the arrow and it goes down to one knee, and then it kind of sort of splashes into a small pool by its side.
Orba catches Safira as she like falls from that, throwing that
Lighting
away.
it on fire.
And you guys continue through these sort of tall grasses, and the horse is sort of strained, and the carriage sort of hurls forward on this kind of makeshift pathing, attempting to put some distance between you and the fray, and the sounds behind you of sort of the house crackling and crashing, they sort of get quieter and quieter as you continue.
We need to go back for Blom. We're not going back.
I don't think we should go back,
He
Orba.
told us to leave.
We're just going to leave him.
Explicitly told us to leave.
We'll rescue his brother.
Stop. We're not going back for Blom. And Jillian sort of stares ahead.
How's Safira?
I can barely talk. I'm
conscious, but she's
barely conscious.
If even if people are on the front and stuff, could I reasonably see everybody at the same time?
Yeah, you can see everybody from where you are.
Okay, I'm gonna kind of sit back and just like close my eyes and start casting Prayer of Healing.
Great. Go ahead.
It says it takes 10 minutes.
Sure. Yeah.
But
And you have it.
up to 6 creatures that I can see within range each regain HP equal to 2d8 plus my spell casting.
Great.
Wow.
So Graven sort of tells everyone to sort of calm and take a moment, and you see him sort of sit there, and he's sort of the healing energy sort of radiating out from him. And I think you roll it. So
Roll it
2d8.
first.
Yep.
Okay. Plus my spell casting, which is my cleric level, which is 3. Right?
Spellcasting modifier?
Yeah.
It doesn't say on that second sheet.
Your
there.
spellcasting ability modifier. Spell attack bonus?
No, it's not your attack bonus. What is this called again?
Prayer of Healing.
Prayer
Spellcasting ability.
of healing. There we go.
Suspense is killing us.
I know. Sorry.
No, you're okay. There we go. It's +2. I think it's your proficiency. 2d8 plus
Proficiency in.
just your proficiency bonus, which is +2.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's
Alright,
+2. 2d8 +2.
2d8 plus 2. 12. So everybody regains 12.
So over this time, you can feel sort of some of the life returning to you.
We get 12.
Yep. Everybody's hurt.
Everybody
That's 12.
regains 12. Does that
Including
do anything
you?
for my? It says 6 of my choice. So 1, 2, 3,
So
4,
6.
5.
Jillian, sure.
Yeah. Does that do anything for my max HP from earlier?
No.
So you can go above your max.
No, not for this.
Not
That
Oh.
was.
I can't.
That was special.
If you hit your maximum, that's it. You're just.
So I just put it back to max.
Yeah. Orba takes out the flower that the little girl gave her, and she just starts like tearing it apart,
Sure.
like just vigorously, and then throws it out of the
Throw it out
carriage.
the window, and in doing so, you hear almost like a little, like a breath escaping, and it flutters away.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
Did we notice that she reacted when the barnacle man showed up?
Reacted in what way?
Like it looked like she like knew him or something. Or had seen a barnacle man
I'm gonna
before.
say no, because
Okay.
there were a lot of people surrounding you.
Okay, I didn't know if that was like a.
No.
In my prayer, so that happens, but I just have to,
10 minutes.
for 10
Yeah, sort of maintaining
over
that,
the case.
yeah.
But it's not like I'm out of it. Like I
No,
can
you
see
can
it.
interact with
I
people.
can
Yeah,
see it.
and this
Okay.
they're sort of moving along. Time is passing, so it's okay.
Okay. Orba. What was that about?
Orba's just looking down.
Well, hopefully that will be the last of the scrapes for a moment.
Let's hope so.
It seems that the undead are following us. We'll just have to make sure we're one step ahead of them.
Was that warrior, whatever that was? Is that something that the Black Lions would have risen?
I don't think so, no. That seems beyond their power, although admittedly their power has increased since the last time I dealt with them. I can't say for sure.
What would have summoned that?
Something greater. A necromancer of significant power.
Is Geed or Dadnock a known necromancer?
No. I don't think either of them practice magic at all.
Are there necromancers higher up than the Black Mine?
Oh yes, most definitely.
Do you happen to know any necromancers that are this powerful that are tieflings?
This powerful what?
Would you happen to know any necromancers that are powerful enough to summon these things that are tieflings?
I don't know.
Why do you ask?
There was a tiefling man who was looking for one of us from the Gentle Void. The man who spoke to Beezaura was... Oh, you don't know that. I guess that's true.
Looking for who?
Beezaura knows, Erland knows.
Erland doesn't give any indication that he knows.
Yeah, I'm the only person right now that doesn't.
Jillian.
Yeah.
Doesn't know.
Oh,
Yeah.
Jillian doesn't know.
No, Orba's
Orba doesn't know.
Orba's
Oh.
like still. She hasn't shifted, but she's listening.
Looking for one of us. A tiefling looking for one of us.
Safira, it'd be nice if you can mind your own business.
This sounds like all of our business.
It seems to have become all of our business. If it
If
has
there's-
anything to do...
Really?
If it had anything to do with the attack, then yes, I think that suddenly now, yes, it's all of our business.
Jillian, how long until McMoo?
We ride fast. 2 days.
Is there somewhere where we can spend evenings safely? Crossings, outposts.
She's sort of sitting up at the front, she's sort of holding some of the reins. Beezaura's sort of taking charge, but she's racking her brain, and Blom was the safe spot.
So we ride through the night, alternating, riding and sleeping, and
Perhaps if we don't stop, maybe we can cut it down. The horses will have to rest at some point. Perhaps we can make it a day and a half, less than.
I'm good to ride.
I say we keep moving.
Yes.
we have no other choice.
And you guys continue on. And after rounding the edge of sort of a murky pond that's down to your right, off to the side, seems to be sort of a popular spot with some birds and insects, other small critters. And the ground kind of levels out a little bit. And then it opens up wide into this, sort of as Blom described it to you, this boardwalk almost. Sort of neatly laid out planks of sun-stained wood that stretch out. It must be at least 60 feet wide. I mean, this giant sort of stretch of wood. It looks almost like flooring, like this area's been covered up. And there's a few trees that are sort of popping up or on the sides that looks like the boardwalk's been built around them. So, the trees sort of, instead of tearing them down, they've just sort of built this boardwalk across. It's an impressive architectural feat. There's sort of this giant wooden covering, and the wagon kind of gets up onto it, and the horses and the sort of the hooves get louder. It's kind of a thunk, thunk, thunk. It has a little bit of a hollow sound, but it seems solid. The horses sort of get up, and the wagon, sort of the wheels get up, and the ride gets a little smoother as you get to this sort of...
Did Blom construct this?
No, I don't believe so. He said that it was constructed long before he got here. Some sort of excavation site that was covered up a long time ago.
Can I notice anything suspicious about it, even though it opened up?
Sure, make a perception check in front of the carriage.
Eight.
Yeah, nothing of particular note. I mean, it's pretty open at this point. I mean, to the sides, it sort of gets into that tall grass marsh sort of. But this area that you're moving across right now, very sturdy sort of wood planks.
Good land.
It's a little noisy as the horses kind of clunk, 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 clunk. across the room. Bit of a brush with death there, I believe.
A bit.
Well, you all fought well.
What you know of Blom, do you think he'll survive?
Give her a
I don't
moment,
know.
Safira.
Blom, and she reaches into her pocket. She sort of takes out the key that she gave him. Requested that we let his brother go if we ever make our way back to Oranchupo. She sort of holds the key and she's kind of looking at it there. She sort of moves it between her fingers. And she clasps her hand and she puts it back in her pocket. You all fought very bravely. I am impressed. A bit more of a threat than a few gnoll witherlings last we saw each other.
A little more, I'd say.
This was not our finest hour.
We are alive. That is something. Let us not allow Blom's sacrifice to go unappreciated.
Of course.
To Ogmu then.
Let's continue on.
Sort of in this calm, this is I woke up and got thrust into combat.
Yep.
And this sort of calm is the first time I've had a second to sort of process and even remember what occurred the night before.
Yep.
And sort of having been taken back to a sort of a previous life, I'm going to look at Orba for a long time. Do I recognize her now that I have a second with her?
No.
No? Look for a long time and then sort of go back to thinking about the night before.
What?
It's kind of sad. There's a moment here as you guys are sort of moving along quietly, everybody catching their breath a little bit. Safira's sort of hair tousled, armor torn, beaten up a little bit, tending to her wounds or patching up.
Were you being subtle about that look at all?
Well, we're in the back, so I think that
Were you trying to sneak a peek, or did you look
No,
right?
I think that legitimately the sort of emotion of the evening before. I think that there's sort of a.
So
Do
you
I
see
know
him-
her?
You see him connect with you for a moment there.
Can I see the expression on his face? Like an
What are you looking for?
Is it malicious? Is it
An insight check.
heartfelt? Insight. 19.
What do you look like?
Somewhere between deep sadness and pity.
Okay. Where is Jillian in the carriage? We're all in, and she's out.
up
She's
right
sitting
me.
with Beezaura on the front.
Okay. So Orba's going to. She's going to look up at Jillian.
Sure. She can't see you, but yeah, if you.
She's
Oh,
she's
Jillian's in
facing-
We're in
front.
the front,
Shit, I'm
yes,
sorry.
I
I
am.
thought you were just in the front.
No,
I
she's sitting over
misunderstood. Okay, so she's not going to do anything.
Erland, you showed a few very special abilities earlier.
Yes, apparently. Not entirely sure where they came from. Restless sleep. I woke up and wasn't able to sleep on, I guess.
You're telling me that you had a restless night's sleep and that somehow gave you the power to generate an entire arm of bark?
No. If you let me finish, I had a restless sleep because someone took the feather bed.
Was it me?
No, I know it wasn't you. I went downstairs and Blom and I got talking about books and nature and taught me a thing or two, I suppose.
Wow.
Things I perhaps knew all along, but
Quite a
things that
lesson.
he was able to help me with.
What do you mean you've known all along?
I'm not sure. Not sure. But someone who's... Blom is an expert in nature and natural things, and I took quickly to the training, I suppose. Not sure he saw something in me.
And as this conversation is happening, Jillian sort of leans back and looks into the interior of the carriage. One of you has a spyglass, correct?
Yes.
May I?
I'll kind
Hands
of
it
get
to
it
her.
out of my bag and...
And she takes it, she sort of looks.
You see something?
Zara, tell me what you see. She hands it to you. Make a perception check with advantage with the spyglass. So make 2. Yeah, you do.
Sorry. 15.
15. In the distance, sort of right in the middle of this flat boardwalk, you see sort of a dome-shaped object. And it's hard to tell from this distance whether it's part of the boardwalk or if it's something like some of the trees that were sort of protruding up through. It's hard to tell if it's something that's protruding up through or if it's a sort of built part of the boardwalk.
There's some sort of structure out there.
Yes.
Dome-like, I'd say.
I couldn't quite tell what it was.
Is it attached to the ground?
I'm not sure. Slow the horses a bit.
What is it? What's up there?
And Beezaura sort of... And you continue forward, and the hooves are still kind of
Slow.
loud against the boardwalk, but they slow down a little bit. And you get a little closer. And based on sort of the width of the boardwalk as a whole and the object, it looks like it's at least 20 feet wide. It's sort of a big sort of bump in the middle of the boardwalk.
It's quite large.
Yes. Hand me the spyglass. She takes it. And she looks at it again. It's moving.
What do you mean it's moving?
I
Is
think
it a
it's
bubble?
alive.
Can I,
What do you
like,
mean?
looking for any reason to get out of this carriage, like, lean up to the front and ask for the spyglass?
Sure, she hands it to you.
Since I have dark vision, I don't know if that's going to help.
It's daytime.
Oh,
right
it's
now.
daytime
Yeah.
still? Jesus Christ.
Is it,
We
This
just
day's
woke
been
up.
so long.
is
Never
it some
mind.
sort of alive bubble?
It's a giant.
It's a huge dome. But
It's not a bad thought. And she takes the spyglass back and she sort of looks. I think we've got ourselves a hill giant.
Oh,
Are they normally friendly beasts?
No, but they're not necessarily hostile, and I would say slow the horses more. She sort of.
slow.
It looks like it might be sleeping.
Right.
And it's sort of as you're getting closer, maybe it looks like it's
breathing.
rising and falling. a
Somehow
little
I don't
bit.
think it'll be continuing to sleep if we ride over its back.
Would I? Sorry, I was
Sure.
next to Graven when he spoke giant to the black lion guy. Would I have recognized that as giant?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Okay.
Some of the general sound. Some of the red. Sort of, yeah.
Great.
Cousin.
Graven,
Yes.
you can speak giant. Is this perhaps something you'd have expertise in?
Perhaps we shouldn't wake it up.
I'm not saying we should wake it up, but if it does wake up,
Then at least maybe...
The only way to go past it would be for it to either move or let us ride over.
We can't ride around it.
Well, we could. There's a couple of problems with that. One, the horses on the hollow wood are making quite a bit of noise. And second, hill giants don't like horses or any speedy animals. They spook easily.
You want me to parlay with a hill giant?
Just talk to him, right? As a friend.
As you guys are still sort of creeping forward a little bit, it kind of... and you see the head kind of peek up, and it looks like it's sort of rising from a slumber.
Oh no.
And as it's leaning up forward and its feet kind of touch the ground, you can see the boardwalk almost sag just a little bit. It doesn't look like it's pushing, but it like
Steady.
sags.
Jillian,
Just
should
like-
we stop the
Steady.
carriage?
Yeah.
Stop the carriage, stop the carriage.
Stop.
Nobody pull your weapons out.
And he sort of sits up, and he looks like he's kind of looking in your direction, but he can't really make out what it is.
I'll slowly get out of the carriage.
I just like raise my hand. I'm like,
Beezaura, you and I are going to unhitch the horses.
okay,
We're going to walk them away from the boardwalk.
got it.
Graven's going to stay here and talk to if it comes. Everyone else, stay in the carriage. If it thinks it's outnumbered, it will panic.
What does it do when it panics?
It's not good if it panics.
Fuck's sake.
You and her get off slowly. Make an animal handling check.
15.
15, great. So the two of you sort of get off, and you slowly start to sort of unbuckle the horses, like calming them as you do.
It's okay.
And she takes sort of 2 by the leads, and you take 2, and the 2 of you, sort of perpendicular to the boardwalk, start to walk them away. And Jillian sort of points to sort of a big tree that's off to the side of the boardwalk. Tie up the horses there.
Got it.
And the 2 of you sort of walk. And the giant sort of sees some of the motion. It seems like it kind of... And it's getting up on its feet, and it kind of...
Stay out of sight.
Rises. And this is a massive specimen. He's got this tremendous gut that he sort of scratches with these curled mitts of hands, these sort of fat fingers. And he rolls forward and he sort of gets his footing and stands up, and the boards sort of continue to sort of bend a little bit. They don't give. And he sort of makes his way, he takes a step forward and kind of... And he's sort of slowly making his way, and you and Jillian are sort of not trying to spook him, but quickly trying to make the horses away. And he sort of takes a few steps, and it seems like he can kind of make out Graven's figure a little bit. And he takes a couple steps towards, and now he's probably within 50 feet, and he's walking. Each step he sort of takes is another, 10 feet. I mean, he's got a big stride, and he kind of gets, and as he steps, he's now within 30 feet.
Orba's gonna say something to Graven. She's going to say, if he starts getting testy, just tell me and trust me. You have to trust me.
Okay, fine. Good morning.
And he sort of regards you. You're speaking in giant,
In
correct?
giant, yeah. Good
So he's sort
morning.
of, he seems like a little confused, taken aback a little bit, and he takes another step forward, and he looks like he's like holding up a finger near the top of your head. Little giant.
Big giant.
And it sort of eyes you up, and it kind of peeks behind you a little bit and sees the sort of carriage. Stealth checks with advantage for the 3 of you in the carriage.
Oh my god.
Oh shit. Oh no. 16.
16?
6.
14.
14. So it peeks around to the side, and the 3 of them kind of duck under, but Orba's tail kind of peeks up.
I grab the tail.
Grab it and pull it down.
Where good food?
What is that? And he sort of points.
Bad food.
And he takes his hand, and he pushes you to the side. Make a dexterity saving throw.
Why did I say that? God, you guys' food! Dexterity saving throws? Natural 20.
So he pushes you, and you kind of you hop up, and you're holding onto his hand as he pushes you to the side. And he sort of looks at you, and then he goes to the carriage, and he grabs it with a hand, sort of underneath, and he looks like he's trying to peek it. I mean, he's like 20 feet tall, so he grabs this thing, he sort of picks it up, and the carriage kind of tilts to the side, and everybody starts to move a little bit, and he's sort of looking in the side, and he looks
Friend.
to you on his hand.
Friend. Where good food?
You lie to me.
Orba cast Charm Person.
Sure.
Oh my
no,
god.
he's gonna-
So he needs to, hold on. He needs to make a wisdom saving throw. We're not in combat technically yet, right?
You are not.
Yeah, okay, yeah, great.
What it just is in combat?
No. In combat, he gains advantage.
Right, it's just in combat, not if he's trying to resist it or anything.
Correct, yeah.
Okay, 14.
He fucking saves.
So he sees Orba pop up and sort of look like she's moving her hands around, and he doesn't like that. No, and he sort of puts one foot down, and the ground begins to, and he puts another foot down, and he shakes the carriage. Dexterity saving throws for the three of you inside the carriage.
Jillian and I are just like, what the fuck?
9.
Dexterity saves?
I got it.
23.
23. So he shakes up and down the carriage, and Orba and Safira come tumbling out the side of the windows.
In addition to grabbing onto the carriage, can I grab the ram as well?
Sure, yeah, you grab onto that.
Grab the ram, not your friends.
And
that
he's
are
shaking, and the two of you fall, and now he sees multiple creatures, and you can see him sort of, and he sort of hits with the ground his two fists, and he, and the ground, with the weight of the carriage and his weight, and it all goes crashing down, and all of you start to fall into the ground, and you and Jillian are sort of seeing this from the side, and he sort of throws off Graven from his arm, and all of you start to...
Am I close enough to see that they're falling into the ground?
Yeah.
Okay, great. I'm letting go of everything and jumping towards them.
Into the hole?
To like near the hole to try and grab them.
You can't do that.
I can't.
The hole is big, so it like opened up this big chasm, and he was holding the carriage that you were in.
Oh, okay. So I'm like over top of the
Yes,
hole.
he held you up into the air and grabbed the carriage. And
Oh, jeez. Okay, I'm gonna. Sorry, I thought that I could.
Yeah,
okay,
that's
great. Then I'm just still holding on to everything.
Great. So
We're still holding on to all of our possessions.
So quickly, who's falling currently?
The three of you are
Okay,
all falling.
and beneath us, what does it look like?
Looks dark.
Dark?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a hole. It's open.
Okay, were you going to say some things? Because I'm ready to do stuff, so I don't want to interrupt more narrative
No.
things.
Seeing how dark it is, I'm gonna. I still have like my shield and stuff on me, and like imbue it with light so that
Sure.
it can kind of fill any space I
He
can
sort
with
of
light.
puts his hand, sort of glowing of light, and you can see sort of this almost infrastructure where they built up this boardwalk. I mean, they clearly there was sort of an excavated chasm here, and they've built up these almost sort of scaffoldings all the way up to the top. So you're seeing them as you're kind of falling down, and the giant with his weight, he can't keep himself up above, so he's starting to fall too with all of you, and Jillian are sort of seeing this from the side, and you all start to sort of fall in.
Okay. Orba casts Featherfall.
Great.
So, within 60 feet of me, I can choose up to 5 falling creatures within range. Falling creatures' rate of descent slows to 60 feet per round until the spell ends. If the creature lands before the spell ends, it takes no falling damage and can land on its feet.
Great.
So I cast falling damage, or Featherfall.
Yeah, I cast fall damage.
Fall damage!
You
All
want
of it! Fall damage!
So you cast on Graven, Safira, and Erland, and you. How many creatures is it?
It's up to 5.
Okay.
You don't have to.
The only other creature falling is the giant.
I save the giant.
You cast on him as well?
Yeah.
Great. So you're all sort of falling through, and Orba sort of reaches out and casts it, and everyone sort of slows in their descent, and we go back up to the surface. And Jillian sort of takes 2 steps towards and is on the foot of the boardwalk, and she sort of has this shocked look on her face. Beezaura, get the horses. And then you just tied them up to the tree.
Come on.
And you're starting to undo it. We need to follow the boardwalk to the end, and we'll loop around, and we'll see if there's a way to access the excavation site from the side.
Got it. Hop on horse.
Yeah, she hops on one too, and she's holding. So you're each on one, and then holding
one on
a
the
rope,
side.
and the two of you sort of.
Let's go.
And you guys sort of start to make your way down, and the rest of you are descending down this sort of shaft with all the scaffolding, and that's where we're going to end the evening. So with
Guys,
Beezaura
I
and
am
Jillian,
so
I
sorry.
know. We're a tag team.
Where's
Beezaura and Jillian
I'm
What?
sorry.
In
riding
the
out
world?
to attempt to find them at a different spot, and we'll pick up at the bottom of this pit. Beezaura, Leah will not be with us next week, so her and Jillian will. I'll be emailing you.
Listen out to Sorry,
Oh
Jews
my
gotta do
God.
what Jews gotta do.
Thank you guys so much for
Thank
joining
you
us.
so much for all of the subs and the bits. Everybody's been so generous tonight.
Did you want to read out?
Did we keep doing bits every time we got a natural 20?
If some folks did, yes.
I just rolled 3 natural 20.
Oh, shit. Okay, hold on, because I feel like my thing. But I thanked you on chat for the subs. But Shades of Blue is doing a lot of bits donations. And oh god, where was your name? Thank you, Professor Nader was awesome.
If we forgot anyone, we'll read your name at the beginning of the next one.
Oh.
Thank you guys so much for joining us. We have
Thank you so much.
very action-packed episode. We'll pick it up. We will be picking it up at the bottom of this pit.
Oh boy.
I did not.
And we'll pick it up from there.
I do not.
All right.
Oh my god.
Oh,
okay.
all right.
Jesus.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.